One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
What's going on, everybody? So we've got a busy Wednesday, a very busy Wednesday. Hopefully everything will come out. I'm going to have some news for you as well. But first off the bat here, we have a press conference with a, quote, significant law enforcement action. This press conference is with Attorney General Pam Bondi and Kash Patel together. So both the head of the FBI and the Attorney General, and I'm sure they'll be flanked by a bunch of other people in law enforcement as well. We already have the feed is coming in, so that should be happening at any minute. And they called it for 11 o'clock. Unlike Trump, she's usually much more prompt, so I assume that she's going to be coming out very soon. As soon as she comes out, we'll obviously go ahead and take it. Then, and I hope they don't run too close together, then at 12 o'clock, President Trump is doing a speech at something called the Saudi Investment Forum. As long as the feed is running on that, we will go to that as he's talking to a bunch of business people. In fact, I'll probably, whatever time she ends, regardless of when President Trump is speaking, I'll try to cut to the Saudi Investment Forum because a whole bunch of people are speaking. Elon Musk is speaking there. Jensen from NVIDIA and Jensen Huang is speaking. Jeff Bezos. A lot of captains of industry will be speaking there. A lot of prosperity talk, I'm sure, will be taking place. Looks like they're about to start. They're putting the notes up there for Pam Bondi, and then we'll get going on that. And then I've got a great video I put together for you about the Democrats and their hypocrisy over this Epstein stuff. I think this thing is about to blow up. No, I don't think. It already has blown up in their face. They've made a huge mistake. They've made a mistake of epic proportions, and it's already claiming victims. It's already claiming victims on their side. It's already happening. As you know, Larry Summers, he's had to tuck tail and run. Larry Summers, who used to work in the Bill Clinton administration, has been a staunch critic of President Trump, and he's a professor at Harvard, and now he might have to say goodbye. One of the things that was funny, Ashley and I were talking this morning. And as we were talking, one of the things I was wondering is anything going to come from this other than shame? And it was interesting when we were having this conversation, and I asked Ashley, I wonder if people are realizing that more than likely nothing is going to happen from this Epstein stuff. Nothing. From the legal perspective. I don't know what different statute of limitations are, but even if the statute of limitations can be expanded to 2025, the likelihood of something happening absent a video and absent actual pictures of some guy doing something with somebody, without those pictures, without that video, it is merely going to be the testimony, if it gets that far, of an adult woman today recounting what happened to her 10, 12, 14 years ago, and it's going to be a he said, she said. I mean, so from a legal perspective, an actual handcuffs put people away, I wouldn't get your hopes up too high that anybody faces legal justice. It's going to be very hard to prove, hey, this guy did this to me back in 2002. How are we going to prove it? And I don't want anybody putting in the chat, well, Barry, you're not really, supporting survivors and everything else. No, I support it, and I fully want every single guy and woman who were involved in harming kids to do so, to be strung up. There is no doubt. I don't think Democrat or Republican, well, there might be some, who don't feel that. That's what we would love to see happen. I'm talking to you from a realistic perspective. A realistic perspective is somebody is going to get up on, if it even gets that far, if you even have the predicate to charge somebody, and you goes to a trial, it's going to be this person pointing at that person. And then, where's the evidence? There's no blue dress per se like Bill Clinton. And so it's not, hey, I didn't do anything. Yeah, you did. I didn't do anything. Yeah, I did. You did. Prove it. Innocent until proven guilty. So I'm keeping my expectations of legal prosecution very low. Now, the court of public opinion is what's going to happen. The court of public opinion is going to destroy people, which is arguably kind of weird. You have to admit, this is a witch hunt of epic proportions with no bounds. Any one of these women can point at any man and say, you did this to me when I was 10 years old, and whether the guy did it or he didn't, they're toast. They will be ostracized. They will be cast aside. You won't even be able to go to a gas station. Because the media, especially if it's a Republican, they've already begun shielding the Democrats. But if it's a Republican, it'll be 24/7 on every single television station, over and over and over. Your entire family will be wrecked. Whatever business you have will be wrecked because of an accusation. I don't think that's what America is about. One of the problems that I have with this entire saga is, how did we get to 2025? Almost as if everybody knew, now would be a good time because nothing's going to happen except shaming. And whether or not that shaming is warranted or not is going to be for us to try and decipher. And there's no possible way. We weren't there. We don't know. I mean, even this guy, Larry Summers, if it weren't for the email that said he was contacting Jeffrey about, can you hook me up with this Chinese communist? And I'm just looking, they're just getting the podium ready. Without that email, there was nothing to tie him. Nothing at all except an email. And just imagine this. An email is causing this guy to run and tuck tail. One email. hey, can you set me up with this woman? You know, I'd like to do some stuff with her. Yeah, can you help me out? And now the guy's life career is done. It's over. Just that email. But at least there's a trail. There's an actual email. Hey, Larry, what in the hell were you doing talking to this guy? What do you mean? I was just trying to get a hookup. You called the wrong wingman. That's not the wingman you needed to be calling about a hookup. So you're done. But at least there is something that's relatable to it. Now, already, and I'm going to show you this when we get into the video I have for you, once Pam is done or Trump is done, either way. The hypocrisy right now is explosive. The Democrats, I think they were trying to call a bluff. I don't think they really thought this stuff would get released. In fact, now they've amped it up saying they've already doctored everything. They've already changed everything. This guy is a pariah. This guy who did all this stuff that so many people knew about has been able to become part of folklore at this point. We don't know what's true. We don't know what's not true. We don't know what the women are up to. We don't know about the women who won't come forward. Remember, they're saying he was prolific, arguably the most prolific Speedo in history. Prolific. I've heard numbers go up to 1,000. But somehow there's only 9 women that come to these press conferences over and over and over. You know, we got to start digging in. Is there an NDA? Was there some money? What exactly happened? Here, we're going to start, and then once this thing starts and ends, then we shall go to President Trump's event as well. So here comes Pam Bondi.
Hi. All right. Good afternoon. Today, the Justice Department is proud to announce new developments in our ongoing investigation into Ryan James Wedding. Wedding is the former Olympian from Canada who is now the leader of a transnational criminal enterprise. He's currently on the FBI's and has been top 10 most wanted list. He controls one of the most prolific and violent drug trafficking organizations in this world. He is currently the largest distributor of cocaine in Canada. Wedding collaborates closely with the Sinaloa cartel, a foreign terrorist organization, to flood not only American but also Canadian communities with cocaine coming from Colombia. His organization is responsible for importing approximately 60 metric tons of cocaine a year into Los Angeles via semi-trucks from Mexico. To put that in perspective, 60 metric tons is approximately the weight of 40 standard cars. Imagine that. That's how much cocaine, the weight of 40 cars, he is bringing into our country a year. In the course of the investigation, more than 35 individuals have been indicted. Over 2,000 kilos and numerous weapons have been seized. Approximately $3.2 million in cryptocurrency has been recovered, and over $13 million in physical assets has been confiscated. Wedding is also accused of murdering a federal witness after he was indicted in 2024. He used a Canadian website called The Dirty News to post photographs of the witness and his wife in order to locate him, which ultimately succeeded. The witness was gunned down in a restaurant in Medellin before he could testify against Wedding. Today, we're unsealing a new indictment, charging Wedding with 2 additional counts of witness tampering and intimidation, murder, money laundering, and drug trafficking. The website that was used to hunt down this witness and his wife, that has since been removed. That has been deleted. Protecting federal witnesses from retaliation is core to the department's mission. It's about individual safety, but more, it's about protecting the rule of law itself. The new indictment also includes several other individuals involved in the murder of the witness and other crimes in connection with this criminal enterprise. You're going to be hearing more about that from the people behind me. We're working very closely with our partners at the State Department and the Department of Treasury. The State Department has raised the reward for Ryan Wedding from $10 million to $15 million. We're offering $2 million rewards for information leading to the arrest of those involved in the murder of the witness. The Treasury Department's Foreign Asset Control is seizing assets belonging to approximately 19 of the targets associated with Wedding's criminal enterprise, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I want to thank the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California, as well as our Canadian law enforcement partners for their steadfast commitment to bring Ryan Wedding to justice. I also want to thank the Colombian National Police, who have greatly helped us. Let me be clear, drugs are killing our kids. Whether you are a street-level drug dealer, a common street-level drug dealer, or an international drug kingpin, we are coming for you, we will find you, and you will be accountable and held to justice for your crimes. It's killing our kids, it's killing our friends, it's killing our relatives, and this guy is responsible for a tremendous amount of that horror. President Trump gave us one mission: make America safe again. And we will not sit idly by and let these drug dealers continue to do business, run roughshod on our neighborhoods, and put the American people and our Canadian people in harm's way. To the American people, the Justice Department will use every tool available to catch these monsters. Thank you to all of our partners in this fight. From day one, Ryan Wedding has been on the top of Director Patel's radar to get him. We have talked about him constantly. And I'd now like to introduce Director Patel, who has done a tremendous job in his efforts to catch these monsters. Director Patel.
Thank you, General. As the Attorney General stated, our mission since the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General and this tremendous team was assembled by President Trump is to safeguard American lives. Already this year, thanks to the Department of Justice's leadership, in combination with the interagency, including this FBI, have seized record amounts of narcotics, to include record amounts of cocaine, including record amounts of fentanyl. All of these narcotics are enabled by our enemies to go after our youth and our communities and kill and destroy American civilization. Under President Trump's leadership, we have been shutting that down since day one. As the Attorney General mentioned, this is an indictment, an additional indictment, an arrest of multiple subjects, nearly a dozen more, and that brings the total to approximately 36 indicted. And you'll hear the details from the tremendous team established here by the Attorney General. Most importantly, you do not get to be a drug kingpin and evade the law. Make no mistake about it. Ryan Wedding is a modern-day iteration of Pablo Escobar. He's a modern-day iteration of El Chapo Guzman. This Justice Department and this FBI will work with our Canadian counterparts and the government officials across the world to bring him to justice. He is responsible for engineering a narco-trafficking and narco-terrorism program that we have not seen in a long time. He will not evade justice. We are here today because this Department of Justice, behind Attorney General's brilliant leadership and the Deputy Attorney General, have made it clear to the American people with the indictments they have brought that law enforcement and agencies like this FBI will lead the effort to go out there and make sure these animals are brought to justice. And that's exactly what we will do. This step, this interagency step, is a huge, huge step towards obtaining justice for so many American lives lost and so many American lives saved. Thanks to the courageous efforts of law enforcement. This is what a great team looks like, working together for the American people under the motto that President Trump set forth to make America safe again. It's incredibly humbling for this FBI to be a part of it and to lead out the efforts on Ryan Wedding. And for those of you out there that have any information on Ryan Wedding, now is the time to speak up. Now is the time to help us. This FBI has always engaged the public around the world for their assistance in bringing some of the world's most dangerous criminals and terrorists to justice. And we are doing so again today. He will not evade justice. He will not evade our capture. He will not evade arrest, and he will not evade prosecution. Because of the Attorney General's leadership here today, we are taking a huge step in that direction. And I'm honored to be a part of this FBI and leading its men and women in law enforcement on a daily basis. It's really one of the best things I've ever encountered. And the teamwork is something I just want to stress more than anything. Our federal, state, and local partners have bonded together like never before to bring you these results that we've talked about these last 8-9 months. And today is just yet another example of a historic achievement for the Trump administration in safeguarding American lives. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to the Assistant Director in charge of our Los Angeles field office, Akil Davis, for some more details about the FBI's work. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Akil Davis, Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles Division. Today, we are here to highlight the success of the FBI's Homeland Security Task Force in which this operation fell under. Our Homeland Security Task Force is made up of several federal agencies along with state and local counterparts. We work closely with RCMP, as you're going to hear from later, to target the Ryan Wedding drug trafficking organization. Make no mistake, Ryan Wedding is extremely dangerous. He's extremely violent, and he's extremely wealthy. He's being protected by the Sinaloa cartel, along with others in the country of Mexico. We will find him, and we will bring him to justice. He is so important to the efforts of the United States government that the State Department has put up a $15 million reward for his capture. Let me say that again, a $15 million reward for his capture. Ryan Wedding has orchestrated murders against his rivals, against cooperating witnesses, against anybody that crosses his path. And as you've heard already, he has trafficked record levels of drugs, fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, all the things that are rampant on our streets. He has been a part of that and a main cause of that. And that is why you see so much resources dedicated to dismantling his organization, which we have done mostly here today. We will capture Ryan Wedding. We will bring him to justice. If you have information leading to his capture, you can contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or tips.fbi.gov. Make no mistake, Ryan Wedding is dangerous. Do not approach him on your own. Please call us and let us do our job. Thank you. I will now turn it over to United States Attorney Bill Asaley.
Bill Asaley came from California to be here today. That's how important this case is. And President Trump, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and I are thrilled to have Bill Asaley on our team. I think Deputy Attorney General Blanche talks to Bill Asaley daily, and I talk to him at least once a week. He is doing an incredible job to keep America safe and to keep Californians safe. So it's my honor now to have Bill join us.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm Bill Asaley. I am the First Assistant U.S. Attorney at the Central District of California, the leader of that office. As the Attorney General said, today an indictment was unsealed against Ryan James Wedding, a former snowboarder who was once an Olympic athlete and who is now on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list and the subject of a $15 million reward. Wedding and 14 other defendants, including a Canadian lawyer and a Latin pop star, are federally charged with orchestrating the January 2025 murder of a witness who was shot 5 times in the head at a restaurant in Colombia and who died instantly. Wedding placed a bounty on the victim's head in the erroneous belief that the victim's death would result in the dismissal of criminal charges against him and his international drug trafficking ring, and would further ensure that he was not extradited to the United States. He was wrong. The murder also involved a Canadian website, as the Attorney General discussed, which claimed to be a news outlet. This so-called news outlet, the Dirty News, was paid by a co-defendant to post a photograph of the victim, witness, and his wife online so that he could be hunted down and killed. Law enforcement yesterday seized that website pursuant to a judicially authorized warrant. That website no longer exists. I want to say this to Mr. Wedding and to the other defendants involved in his drug trafficking organization. Your days are numbered. Our agents and prosecutors will relentlessly pursue you and anyone who assists you and bring you to justice, not just anywhere. We're going to bring you to justice in the United States of America. And I want to just add a couple things here. Mr. Wedding is the most prolific cocaine trafficker in Canada, but he used Southern California, my district, as a hub for his logistics to move the cocaine. The reason he selected California is because of California's weak laws on crime. They knew if they were popped with cocaine in California, they probably wouldn't get much of a sentence. But they made one big miscalculation. They didn't think about us, the U.S. Department of Justice, Attorney General Bondi, and what this administration would do to individuals like him who use the United States to traffic their drugs. And he will be brought to justice. I'm confident of that. I want to note the lawyer that we arrested yesterday. We arrested 12 people yesterday in an international takedown. You're going to hear more about that. One of which is his lawyer in Canada. His lawyer advised them to kill this witness. His lawyer told him if you kill this witness, the case would be dismissed. That lawyer is now in custody, and he'll be extradited and brought to justice here in the United States. So all this to say, it doesn't matter who you are or where you are. When the United States government and this Department of Justice decides we're going after someone, we're going to get you. America always gets its guy. And let me tell you this as well. Not only do we have a mandate from the Attorney General and as the Attorney General and the FBI Director said, to make America safe again by the President, through this operation today, we're making North America safe again. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chris Landberg, Senior Bureau Official at the Department of State.
Great, thank you. Good morning. So I'm Chris Landberg, head of the International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Bureau at the Department of State. I want to thank the Attorney General for hosting us today for this important event. So today, the Department of State, as you've heard, is continuing to fulfill one of President Trump's first promises when he took office, to stop the brutal criminals who are trafficking deadly drugs into our country. In coordination with the FBI and our partners in Mexico and Canada, the Department of State is increasing our reward offer, as you've heard, to up to $15 million for information leading to the arrest and or conviction of Ryan James Wedding. This is a $5 million increase from our previous reward offer. Wedding abandoned an Olympic-level athletic path for depraved violence and cocaine trafficking. He worked closely with the foreign terrorist organization Sinaloa Cartel, as you've heard, to traffic bulk quantities of cocaine from South America to the United States and Canada. As you have also heard, his heinous crimes did not end there. In January 2025, Wedding allegedly ordered the murder of a U.S. federal witness in Medellin, Colombia. In addition to our focus on taking down Wedding, we are offering rewards up to $2 million each for information leading to the unknown assassins responsible for that January 2025 murder. We hope the public will recognize these criminals from surveillance photographs taken the day of the assassination in Medellin and will come forward to identify them. These brazen, illegal activities will be stopped, and the State Department will continue to apply all its tools, including rewards programs, to pursue violent criminals, drug traffickers, and those who assist narco-terrorist organizations. We will continue to build a stronger, safer, and more prosperous hemisphere in the Americas by ensuring that no one, not even former Olympians, is above the law. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to introduce John Hurley, Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence at the Department of Treasury.
Morning, everyone. Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for all the work you do to keep our communities safe. Today, we're leveraging Treasury's longstanding counter-narcotics tools alongside law enforcement and international partners for maximum effect. Under President Trump's leadership, alongside these partners, Treasury is targeting one of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives, Ryan Wedding. This action is part of a broader administration effort to stop the flow of deadly narcotics into the United States, a crisis that has taken far too many American lives. Ryan Wedding is responsible for moving, as the Attorney General said, multi-ton quantities of cocaine through Colombia and Mexico for distribution in the United States and Canada. He's also believed to have ordered dozens of murders around the world. Wedding operates through a complex web of individuals and companies to launder his drug proceeds, using everything from front businesses to luxury cars to cryptocurrency. Today, Treasury's Office of Foreign Asset Control imposed financial sanctions on Wedding and his network. These targets span the globe and have enabled his criminal enterprise by laundering money, providing protection and intelligence, assisting in murders, and even training hitmen. Our sanctions are designed to cut Wedding and his network off from the U.S. and international financial system and to help put an end to his deadly activities. Most importantly for Treasury, U.S. and international businesses are now on notice. Should you choose to assist Wedding by materially supporting him and his network, we will find you, cut you off from the U.S. financial system, and help our DOJ partners bring you to justice as well. I'll close with this. President Trump, Attorney General Bondi, Director Patel, our other interagency partners, and Secretary Bessent are leading the fight against narcotics trafficking. The Trump administration will never stop fighting to protect the American people, and we at Treasury are very proud to contribute to that mission. And I'll be followed by Michael Duhame, the Commissioner of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Mike Duhame, Commissioner of the RCMP. I want to begin by thanking Attorney General Pam Bondi for inviting me for this special announcement. I'd quite say historical announcement as well, considering what we're dealing with. I'm pleased to be here today to highlight significant results by the FBI and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, better known as the RCMP. As Director Patel mentioned, the RCMP and the FBI have been working together to disrupt and target organized crime affecting both our countries and other countries around the world. No single agency or nation can combat transnational organized crime alone. This is why strong, trusted partnerships are essential, just as we continue to illustrate in this file. As part of the FBI Operation Giant Slalom, the highest level of organized crime were targeted for their involvement in a range of serious crimes, as you heard earlier, from drug trafficking to murder to conspiracy to commit murder and continuing criminal enterprise. The RCMP in Canada, as well as its office located in Bogota, Los Angeles, and Mexico, worked closely with the FBI throughout the investigation. Yesterday morning, the RCMP and Ontario Provincial Police proceeded by arresting 7 Canadians with ties to the Wedding organized crime group. I want to emphasize that our work is not done. Fugitive Ryan Wedding remains one of the top threats to Canadian public safety, and as per the previous indictment, continues to run an over $1 billion a year criminal enterprise. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank everyone in the RCMP, the FBI, and U.S. Department of Justice, who have spent the last 2 years and countless of hours away from their family to get the job done when it looks at Operation Giant Slalom. Thank you for your partnership and protecting Canadians, Americans, and people around the world.
Thank you. There's one thing I wanted to add. This is an announcement, and we're up on a hard stop. We can take a few questions if you have them. But first, wait, I want, Director Patel, will you add something about his description for us, please? I don't know if we really got that he could also change his description, or Akil. Go ahead. Thanks.
We turn those around. Yeah.
Yes, let's turn these around.
Ryan Wedding is approximately 6'4" and 230 to 250 pounds. As you see in these pictures here, please understand that he might change his hair color, his appearance, and do anything to avoid capture. But someone like Ryan Wedding is going to stick out in Mexico. And that is why we're soliciting the public's help to try to identify, locate him, and arrest him. Again, there's a $15 million reward for information leading to his arrest and capture. Thank you.
Questions?
General Bondi, on topic first, it was mentioned that the Sinaloa cartel is helping to protect him. Are Mexican authorities cooperating with the U.S. in helping to secure his arrest? And I also have an off topic as well.
Yes, is the short answer. Do you want to add something, Akil?
We are working with our legal attaché office housed at the embassy in Mexico City to try to locate and arrest Wedding. Again, through to significant protection by the Sinaloa cartel and others, that has been difficult.
And that's why it's so important that you get his picture out there. He could change his hair color. He could change his appearance. You know, he's got some powerful people protecting him. But this is $1 billion a year of drugs that he is charged with being responsible for. $1 billion. Go ahead, now, off topic.
On the Epstein files, does the new investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files?
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
What are the next steps, Madam Attorney General, for the DOJ regarding what we assume President Trump will sign into law with the Epstein files? It's just going to be on the Justice Department.
Nothing about the
website.
drug
What are you
dealer.
gonna do
Epstein,
here
Epstein,
over the next
Epstein.
30 days, as we understand it.
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information new information, additional information, and again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward, and we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
Wedding, Madam General. On Ryan Wedding, you mentioned,
Madam Attorney
Sure,
General,
Kelly.
the issue with the new information that you just indicated, is the department seeking information perhaps from the Epstein estate because Mr. Blanche did not have that information when he interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell? What new information, and would you limit the new investigation to just those?
Can you even believe this? They're talking about a major drug trafficker who has been using tractor trailer big rigs to move stuff around, and coincidentally we have 200,000 people who have gotten CDLs who aren't supposed to have the CDLs, and every single question has been about Epstein.
Sure.
President Trump has previously said that he may consider authorizing military strikes within Mexico to go after cartels. Given the importance of this case, I'm wondering if the DOD has been engaged on the search for Ryan.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss anything with the Department of War right now, but right now I will tell you it is the Treasury Department, the State Department, our office, the FBI, working with Canadian authorities and working with the Mexican authorities hand in hand. And that includes the Mexican military. You had one more on Wedding?
Yes, please.
Sure.
CBC, you mentioned a Canadian lawyer. If you can tell us more about it, the extradition of a Canadian lawyer. And also a question for Commissioner Michael Duhem on 7 other individuals who are linked to Ryan Wedding. If we can tell us on the extradition, what are the next steps?
Sure. Do you want to take the Canadian? I think Bill will take the attorney because that attorney is being prosecuted in California, and then I'll turn it over to Director Duhem.
Yeah, the attorney he's named in the indictment that was unsealed today, his name is Deepak Pardkar. Paradkar. He is a lawyer. I'll have the Canadian police commissioner provide more details. He was one of the people arrested yesterday. I understand he initially refused to come out of his home. He put up a little bit of resistance, but he was eventually taken into custody. It was very important for us to get him because when you have people who are officers of the court, who are lawyers, we take oaths to protect the public and defend the law. And when you have lawyers who are assisting international drug trafficking players on how to evade law enforcement and to murder witnesses, we can't have that stand. So it was very important to us that the lawyer be charged and the lawyer be brought to justice. I'll have the commissioner speak about the extradition process. There were about, I believe, 7 individuals that were arrested in Canada. We are still looking for one more individual in Canada, and they will all be extradited here to the U.S., where they will be brought to the Central District of California, and they will be charged and tried here in our court system. So I'll let the commissioner speak more about the arrests and the extradition process.
So thank you. I think he's covered quite a bit there with regards to the next steps and the ideas. Yesterday, we engaged in an operation following information that we received and arrest 7 out of 8 Canadians. All of them are currently locked up, waiting the extradition process. So they'll have a fair process in front of a judge, and then our Department of Justice will communicate with the justice here, and it will go through the steps of the extradition. But the premise is everybody will be charged in the United States. So, and you had something about 7. Is it something else?
More about those 7 Canadians.
Well, the 7 Canadians were arrested in the province of Quebec, some in Ontario, some in Alberta. We still have eyes on another person, but they are being charged conspiracy to commit murder, trafficking, as I listed earlier, conspiracy, drug trafficking, and murder as well.
And the timeline of the extradition?
Well, that's for the courts, and I don't control that, unfortunately, because it happened tomorrow if it's just to me.
Any chance you can say that in French very quickly?
Très rapidement, oui, 7 individus ont été arrêtés, 7 sur 8 ont été arrêtés au Canada, dans la province de Québec, dans la province d'Ontario, ainsi qu'en Alberta. Nous sommes à la recherche d'une dernière personne. Les gens sont arrêtés, les 7 sont arrêtés, sont en prison présentement et attendent le processus d'extradition pour les ramener ici à faire face à la justice américaine. Merci.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Do you want to take it? Yeah, go ahead.
What was the question? The Attorney General has previously said that she would refuse to release any information that would re-victimize victims, and I'm just wondering whether that stands, after the passage of this law.
Well, the law isn't signed into law yet, and of course we're going to protect victims, and the law as written allows us to do that. The law has carve-outs to protect victims and to protect information surrounding victims, which is what we do not only in this case but in every case. So it's a fair question, but neither the House nor the Senate's version, the same version, suggested otherwise. So
thank you all.
Wow, these people are just there's something wrong with our media. I mean, it's beyond TDS at this point. They are so, infected that they can't even do their jobs. I mean, they're just completely crazy, absolutely nuts. Doesn't make any sense. Well, actually, it does make sense. It's absolutely crazy. So President Trump is due to come up in 15 minutes where he will be doing his speech at the event. I also have a couple of other people that you may want to hear. We can start putting those on as well. But before I do that, let me tell you about Brightcore. Is this the one? I don't know if it's the right time. Yeah, okay. Let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention. That's microplastics in your arteries and how they may be silently threatening your heart. New research shows microplastics are not just in oceans or in our drinking water. They're ending up in our blood clots and arterial plaques. A recent study analyzing human blood clots found microplastics in 80% of the samples taken from people who had heart attacks, strokes, or deep vein thrombosis. But here's a mind-blowing statistic. Cadavers, dead people with microplastic plaques, are 450% more likely to have died from a heart attack or stroke. That's not a small correlation. That's substantive. That's a major red flag for your heart's integrity. The good news is that probiotics in kimchi have been found to degrade, absorb, and excrete microplastics from the body. They're doing that much to help people survive and thrive with all of that stuff in your body. Right now, a brand new study shows that eating fermented kimchi can help improve fasting glucose, which is basically lowering your blood sugar, lower triglycerides, and it can even help reduce your high blood pressure if that's what you have. Kimchi One from Brightcore Nutrition brings you all the benefits of kimchi in a convenient capsule form. You don't have to cook it and do all that stuff with it. Just take the Kimchi One capsule. Kimchi One delivers over 900 probiotic strains plus antioxidants and enzymes that help your body detox naturally, fight harmful bacteria, and protect your arteries from stress caused by microplastics. It helps your body defend itself from the inside out, supporting your gut, your immune system, and your heart. And it's all natural, non-GMO, made right here in the United States of America. No mess, no odor. If you've cooked kimchi, you know what I'm talking about. Just simple capsules that work. And you can get yours by going to mybrightcore.com. You can get mybrightcore.com/Barry. You can get an exclusive offer by clicking that link, mybrightcore.com/Barry. Just use the code Barry for 25% off your entire order, or for an even better deal, call my friends at Brightcore for up to 50% off your order and free shipping. Give them a call now at 888-418-6738. And I've got a great interview coming up with Brightcore. I think we're going to be doing that tomorrow, so I'll show you that as well. All right, so I've got to change over the feed real quick here and get ready for President Trump, because that was a different feed with Pam Bondi and those sicko media people. So give me 90 seconds.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Now, I know there's a bunch of people here in the Fanfare family that I don't say they don't like prosperity, they don't like talking about money, even though President Trump is bringing in trillions of dollars and got MBS to give America $1 trillion. Today is the Saudi Investment Forum. So they're going to be talking about money. So if you don't want to hear about prosperity, if you don't want to hear about AI and what they have planned for America, please don't spam the chat with saying, AI is the devil and all this stuff. There are people who actually want to learn. There are people who actually want to know how they can become more prosperous and more skilled in certain areas and what to look for. And so we've got some captains of industry that are going to be talking at this event. It's been going on all day. Obviously, I covered Pam Bondi, and we're going to go into something that I've got paused in progress, where Elon Musk and Jensen Huang, who is the CEO of NVIDIA, they're talking right now. And of course, when President Trump comes on, I will just jump right to whatever President Trump is saying. But this is going to be very interesting for you to hear. Let me just cue this up, and here they are talking. Enjoy this. I am. I'm going to take notes. I've got my notepad right here as these guys are talking.
SpaceX with reusable rockets. There really weren't any reusable rockets. But the essence of revolutionizing space travel is reusability. If you throw the rocket away every time, the cost of access to space is extremely high. With respect to electric cars, there weren't any electric cars when we started making them, really. You couldn't buy any, to the best of my knowledge. So with Tesla, we wanted to make electric cars compelling and affordable. That was the goal. With respect to humanoid robotics, there are no useful humanoid robots at this point. There are sort of gimmicks, but there are no actually useful humanoid robots. And I think Tesla's going to make the first actually useful humanoid robots. And this will be quite a revolution, and I think something that everyone will want. Because I always think of like, who wouldn't want their own personal C-3PO R2-D2?
Oh, yeah?
Of course. Everyone would want one, right? And then there would be many in industry providing products and services. This is why I say that humanoid robots will be the biggest industry, or the biggest product ever. Bigger than cell phones or anything else, because everyone's going to want one, and or maybe more than one, and there'll be many in industry.
I just want R2-D2 in C-3PO's body.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I mean, a humanoid robot would be better than R2-D2 and C-3PO combined times 10.
Yeah.
So people often talk about sort of eliminating poverty and that kind of thing, but really how long have they been talking about that? There's lots of talk. There's lots of NGOs sort of trying to do these things, but really not succeeding. And the evidence speaks for itself. But AI and humanoid robots will actually eliminate poverty. And Tesla won't be the only one that makes them. I think Tesla will pioneer this, but there will be many other companies that make humanoid robots. But there is only basically one way to make everyone wealthy, and that is AI and robotics.
And we can't talk about robotics without AI factories. And yesterday was such a historic day for the two nations, but also for all of us, where we celebrate the AI strategic partnership with the U.S., signed, witnessed by the Honorable President and His Royal Highness, about how we are committing our capital, energy, land to energize the AI U.S. ecosystem, to be able to build inference nodes, training nodes, and to be the most AI-enabled nation. With that announcement, tell me what's next in AI factories, Jensen.
There's a beautiful story about how Saudi Arabia is building AI refineries and now building AI factories, or oil refineries to AI factories.
I love that.
I've said that AI is an infrastructure, and the reason for that is, of course,
just to let you know, this guy is Jensen Huang. He is the CEO of NVIDIA.
Intelligence, of course, has applications into every field. And so it's going to be used by every company, every industry, every country. In that way, it's foundational, and therefore it's part of infrastructure. What is new about AI from a computer science perspective is that the way computing was done in the past was largely retrieval-based computing. Mm-hmm. Somebody typed in a story, or somebody created a piece of art, or came up with 4 versions of a digital ad, or it's all pre-built by somebody, which is then using a system to retrieve the appropriate version for you. It's a retrieval-based computing model. Hadoop and many of the frameworks and operating systems of the past, all designed to retrieve the appropriate information for you. But today, software is going to be generated in real time. It's generative. Based on the context, based on the circumstance, based on who you are, based on the problem you asked, based on your prompt, it will generate unique content for you. Every single time, for everybody, it's unique. When you use Grok, every time you use it is different. Just based on the right, based on the prompt that you give it, and based on the circumstance, and so therefore, it used to be retrieval based. Today, it's generative, and if it's generative, then and every time is different, then you need AI factories all over the world to generate the content in real time, which is the reason why you need AI factories. And this is a unique way of doing computation, but the benefit, of course, is that everything isn't preconceived and pre-documented, and it's contextually sensible and therefore intelligent.
So AI factories and robotics, and we heard it yesterday from His Royal Highness, his vision, how to augment our workforce with roughly tens of millions of robotics to be able to infuse the next wave of productivity and progress. But this scares a lot of folks here when it comes to the future of jobs. So let's hear about your thoughts, Elon and Jensen, on that.
Sure. Well, say like in the long term, where will things end up? Long term, I don't know what long term is. Maybe it's 10, 20 years, something like that. For me, that's long term. My prediction is that work will be optional.
Optional?
Optional. So
we'll take that.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be like playing sports or a video game or something like that. If you want to work, in the same way, like you can go to the store and just buy some vegetables, or you could grow vegetables in your backyard. It's much harder to grow vegetables in your backyard, but some people still do it because they like growing vegetables. That will be what work is like, optional. Now, between now and then, there's actually a lot of work to get to that point. And I always recommend people read Ian Banks' culture books to get a sense for what a probable positive AI future is like. And interestingly, in those books, money doesn't exist. It's kind of interesting. And my guess is, if you go out long enough, assuming there's a continued improvement in AI and robotics, which seems likely, the money will stop being relevant at some point in the future. Now, there will still be constraints on power, like electricity and mass. The fundamental physics elements will still be constraints, but I think at some point currency becomes irrelevant.
Jensen, any thoughts?
By the way, the NVIDIA earnings call is later today.
And by the way, since currency is relevant.
Cheers.
Elon just wants to share with you some breaking news. The two of us would like to share some breaking news. Let's see. I would say there's different horizons you could look at. Everybody's jobs will be different. I think that's for sure. How the students learn will be different. How people do their work will be different, obviously, because a lot of the things that we do mundanely or arduously or very difficultly are going to be done very simply. And so we're going to be more productive from that sense. One of the things that I will say is that for most people or a company, if your life becomes more productive, and if the things that you're doing with great difficulty become simpler, it is very likely, because you have so many ideas, you'll have more time to go pursue things. It is my guess that Elon will be busier as a result of AI. I'm going to be busier as a result of AI. And the reason for that is because we have so many ideas we want to pursue, so many things that we still have in our backlog inside our company that we can go pursue. If we were more productive, we can get to those things faster. And so in the near term, I would say that there's every evidence that we will be more productive and yet still be busier because we have so many ideas. One thing that I will say, give you some evidence, is that, and I was just telling Elon about this earlier, radiology, for example, has largely been converted to AI-driven radiology, and there's some really great companies doing that. And the surprising thing is the prediction that all radiologists would be the first jobs to go was exactly the opposite. The trend shows that there are more radiologists being hired now as a result of AI. And the reason for that, if you take a step back, it's because the goal of a radiologist is not to study the images. The goal of a radiologist is to diagnose a disease. Now the studying of the images became so productive, they could study more images, study more modalities, spend more time with the patients. And as a result, they were actually accepting more patients. We're doing more radiology all around the world. We're doing a better job with diagnosing disease. And so that's kind of the near-term outcome of AI and productivity. And we'll see what happens long-term. You know, when currency doesn't matter anymore, just, you know, let me know right before.
You'll see it coming. You'll see it coming.
We text often, so just
yeah, we do.
Yeah, just text it out. Yeah, let me know.
I kind of agree with both of you, because if you look at every technological trend, every general purpose technology has been net new positive for the globe, for humanity, and so forth. And let me share with you two case studies.
And Your Excellency, I think it's precisely the reason for that is because all the great ideas from innovators like Elon, that you have so many good ideas that
and
AI,
Jensen as well.
Yeah, well, you know,
Indeed.
thank you.
So let me share with you two stories from two Saudi innovators in collaboration with a lot of the great work that NVIDIA does, that Grok does. One is Professor Omar Yagi. All right. Let me say that again. One is Professor Omar Yagi, who is...
I might need to move the mic.
All right.
Here, come on, we'll share this one.
All right. So now,
get close.
Let's try this one more time.
Okay, so we're going to come back to that because President Trump and MBS are taking the stage. So let's listen into the live part of this show.
حضور الكرام، يسعدنا نلتقي بكم اليوم في واشنطن بعد 6 أشهر من انعقاد منتدى الاستثمار السعودي الأمريكي في الرياض، الذي انعقد خلال زيارتكم فخامة الرئيس، حيث وضعنا الأسس لشراكة تقوم على النمو والتنويع الاقتصادي والابتكار، كما وقعنا وثيقة الشراكة الاقتصادية الاستراتيجية بين بلدينا في خطوة تاريخية لترسيخ التعاون الاقتصادي. واليوم يسرنا توقيع اتفاقيات ومشروعات استثمارية جديدة تتضمن قطاعات الدفاع والطاقة والذكاء الاصطناعي والمعادن النادرة والقطاع المالي، مما سيسهم في توطيد فرص وتوظيف فرص وظيفية كثيرة في بلدينا والنمو الاقتصادي في بلدينا. ونتطلع إلى أن يسهم هذا المنتدى لتعزيز العلاقة التاريخية وتطوير مسار الاستثمار بين بلدينا بما يواكب طموحاتنا، وادعوكم إلى اغتنام الفرص الجاذبة التي توفرها الشراكة السعودية الأمريكية. واشكر فخامتكم على اهتمامكم بتعزيز الشراكة الاقتصادية، والتي نثق أنها ستشهد نمو غير مسبوق خلال السنوات القادمة. شكرا فخامتكم. لدينا ونتطلع إلى أن يسهم هذا المنتدى لتعزيز العلاقة التاريخية وتطوير مسار الاستثمار بين بلدينا بما يواكب طموحاتنا، وادعوكم إلى اغتنام الفرص الجاذبة التي توفرها الشراكة السعودية الأمريكية. واشكر فخامتكم على اهتمامكم بتعزيز الشراكة الاقتصادية، والتي نثق أنها ستشهد نمو غير مسبوق خلال السنوات القادمة. شكرا فخامتكم.
Well, thank you very much. And it's great to be here today at the U.S. Saudi Investment Forum. Great group of people. The biggest, you got the biggest in the room. But some of the most talented, maybe most importantly, the word talent, successful and innovative business leaders anywhere on the planet. Whether you have come from near or far, we're delighted to have you invest right here in the hottest country anywhere in the world. Every leader is saying the United States we're the hottest country in the world. We're going to keep it that way too. But this has been, according to those that seem to say it, and I will say it, I would never say a thing like that because I want to be very modest. I always want to be modest as I can. They say this has been the best 9 months that any president has ever had. I'd say that's pretty good, right? But we've had a great 9 months. Now we have to do it more than a few more times. We just have to keep it going. We'll keep it going. I want to thank my friend, a great gentleman, Crown Prince Mohammed of Saudi Arabia, for his bold leadership and deep commitment to the ties between our two countries. Thank you. Thank you. Great gentleman. Yesterday, we had a phenomenal visit at the White House celebrating the 80-year bond between the United States and Saudi Arabia. We ended with an unbelievable show last night in a room that was far too small, but the next time you're here, you'll have a much bigger room. It's gonna be much bigger. I made more enemies last night by we had 119 people. That was a record for the room. So they've wanted for 150 years. They've been clamoring for a ballroom at the White House, and we're giving them one. We're giving them one plus, and it'll be something. But you'll be here. You'll be among the first, if not the first, if you'd like. You know, we'll work it out. But you had a lot of people that wanted to be there. They really would have witnessed something that was really incredible. The entertainment last night was incredible, including our great opera singer, but including the military. The talent and the military musically is also incredible. So it was great to be with you last night. I think it was something to behold. We officially designated the kingdom yesterday as the major non-NATO ally. That's a big deal. That's actually a very big deal. Great honor. That happens seldom, very seldom, if at all. So I just want to congratulate you on that. That's a sign of trust. We signed a historic strategic defense agreement yesterday also, and that's something that is likewise very rare, and it's a very honored company that you're in. And we're going to be selling Saudi Arabia some of the greatest military equipment ever built. We build the best military equipment in the world by far. That's why we do the most business, including nearly 300 American-made tanks is what you're buying, among many other things, the airplanes, and we're working on getting that approved very quickly. It's already approved, but don't worry. We have to go through a process. The process will take, Elon knows, the process will take about, would you say 24 hours? I think so. You're in good shape, very good shape. The partnership between our two nations is among the most consequential in the entire world, and together the Crown Prince and I are making an alliance stronger and more powerful than it's ever been before. We've had good relationships and frankly not good. You didn't have a good relationship with Barack Hussein Obama. You didn't have a good relationship with sleepy Joe Biden. But you had a great relationship with me, and now it's as good as it was, and probably even better if you think about it, because we took the dark cloud away from your country. It was called Iran and its nuclear capability, and we obliterated that very quickly and strongly and powerfully. But that was a real cloud over the whole Middle East, and now they want to make a deal. They want to make a deal. They want to see if they can work out a deal with us, and we'll be doing that probably. But that was a terrible cloud that you had to live with for a long time. 22 years they were thinking about doing that, the B-2s. That was even before the B-2s. Those B-2s, what machines they were, they flew in, they were undetectable, and they dropped their payload, and every single bomb hit its exact mark, which was a shaft going deep into the mountain. And every single one of them hit, and it was total obliteration. And then I was criticized by some of the fake news for saying the word obliteration was too strong, perhaps. They had no idea. Nobody saw it. 3 days later, when the Atomic Energy Commission went, they said it was total obliteration, beyond obliteration, they said. But they want to make a deal. We'll see what happens. This week, our countries also signed groundbreaking agreements on civil nuclear energy, critical minerals, and artificial intelligence. And I want to congratulate a lot of the great American leaders, business leaders that are in the room. And you'll do a great job for Saudi Arabia and for a lot of other people in the room that are buying your product, taking your product, and using your product. All of that is in addition to the $600 billion investment in the United States that Saudi Arabia announced during my unforgettable visit there last spring. Well, I said, could you try and get that up to $1 trillion? And yesterday, the Crown Prince announced that the number that they'll be investing in the United States is $1 trillion. So that's really an honor. And we just took a picture backstage with some of the great business leaders and some of the great people, friends of mine from your country, and beautiful picture. And while we were taking the picture, I said, could you make it 1.5 trillion? So he's got something to think about. I don't know. We'll get something. I think we'll get something, Scott, right? But many of you in the room are playing a key role in making these projects happen, and we're told that $270 billion in agreements and sales are being signed between dozens of companies, and that's just happening today, $270 billion. That's big stuff. So on behalf of the thousands of American workers who I care about most, I want to thank you for bringing all those jobs and all those great opportunities to America and bringing great wealth to America. We've become a very wealthy country. We have a couple of little things. We're waiting for a decision. We hope that's going to be good, but if it's not, we always find ways, we find ways, but we've done things that nobody thought were possible, and we're taking in trillions and trillions of dollars. Tariffs have been, frankly, the best thing that's ever happened to our country. They've always been used against us, and we never had people that were smart enough to use them in the opposite direction. But now you do, and we have taken in trillions of dollars, and it's been absolutely amazing. We're going to be doing a dividend to the people, low and middle income, moderate income people, of at least $2,000. In addition to that, we'll be paying down debt very substantially. It's the kind of money we're taking in. And really, countries that took advantage of us are no longer taking advantage of us. Friends, some of our friends treated us far worse than our enemies on trade anyway, and we've got that all straightened out. And everybody's happy. They respect us again. It's like one of those things. I think they like us better, and they actually respect us, and it works out much better for us, too. But I especially want to thank our numerous Saudi friends here today, including the ambassador to the United States, a friend of mine, Princess Rima. Thank you very much. Great job. Great representative you have. You sent a good representative. And many distinguished ministers and members of the cabinet, governor of the Public Investment Fund. Where's Yasser? Yasser's here someplace. Sometimes I see him dressed both ways. I don't know. It's cooler that way. I'd dress that way if I could. Yasser's terrific. He's a terrific man, actually. So thank you very much, Yasser. And Secretary Scott Bessent, who's been fantastic. Where's Scott? We're thinking about him for the Fed, but he wants no part of it. He likes being Secretary of the Treasury. I think we'll leave him. So let's cross your name off, right? Officially, right? Remember, you said that. I love the Fed job. To me, it's the easiest job in the world. You play golf for 28, 29 days, then you go and make a little speech, tell everybody, in the case of the current guy, the wrong information because he has no clue. But if you have good instincts, it's all based on instincts. I see they want to hire 3,000 economists, 3,000, to report to the Fed chairman. What are they going to do? Take all this information? 3,000 economists. That's why they're spending $4 billion on renovating a building that should have cost $25 million to do. They should have spent $25 million. They're building a basement into the Potomac River. I could have told them that's very tough to do and it doesn't work and it's very expensive. But they're up to $4 billion headed by this clown. But we have 3,000, think of it. They want to hire 3,000 economists. So they took a poll and they interviewed 71 people. And of the 71 people, 2 people got it right. 2 people. One was a great economist whose name I won't tell you because I don't like him personally, but he is good. And the other one that got it the most right was a man named President Donald J. Trump. Do you believe it? Everyone else was wrong. And I didn't have an economist. Well, I had Scott. But we got it right, didn't we? Huh? We got everything right. Doug Burgum, where's Doug? Will you please drill a little bit faster? between him and I'll tell you, you and Chris was great on television, and he's setting records. They're setting records, but I'll never be satisfied. Drill, we got elected. Drill we must, I called it. Drill, baby, drill. Con Edison, a great utility from New York many years ago, they used to have a sign, drill we must and dig we must. So when they were digging in a road, they'd have a sign, dig we must. Well, now we're putting those utilities to shame because I'm allowing all of those AI plants that are being built to build their own electric generating force, and they're building them like nobody's ever seen, and they're coming up with ideas and new contraptions like nobody's ever seen. And this way they can't blame me for not producing electric. I said, you produce it yourself. And actually they didn't believe I was saying that because nobody ever thought of a thing like that. They're building a massive plant. They were going to hook it up to a 200-year-old grid. And that wasn't going to work because there's no way of doing that. No way we could have done that. And I had the idea. This was my idea, approved by a couple of people. I said, why wouldn't that happen? They're building a plant for $50 billion. If you build a shopping center for $50 million, it's okay. It's not a bad shopping center. $500 million, you're talking about top of the line. $50 billion. So when it was first explained, they're spending $50 billion. I said, no, you mean 50 million. No, sir, we mean 50 billion. And then I saw some of them that were the size of Manhattan. I said, they did mean 50 billion. And I said, well, what you're going to do is with that, how would you like to build your own electric generating plant? And they looked at me like I was crazy because something like that, they really didn't understand it. The smart guys, they didn't understand it. They said to me at the next meeting, sir, the biggest problem we have will be electricity. I said, you don't understand. I told you last week, you're going to build your own. I'm giving you approval to build your own plant, and you will be approved within a period of 2 to 3 weeks. It used to take 20 years prior to termination. In other words, you would wait 20 years and you wouldn't make it. You'd be voted down 5 to 4. I said, we're getting you approved in a 2-week, 3-week period. In fact, Lee Zeldin, one of the superstars of this administration, I said, Lee, if it's oil and gas, get them approved in 2 weeks. If it's nuclear, add another week. Because some are going nuclear, and they're doing, be careful. They better be careful, but they are going to be careful. They're the greatest people in the world. So now they come back and they actually believed it, and now they're being approved rapidly, and we have things being built, the likes of which nobody's ever seen. We're leading China by a lot in AI. And we're also bringing auto plants in from Canada and from Mexico. They took them, and they're all coming back. They're all coming back because of tariffs. If we didn't have tariffs, I mean, they like the fact that we won the election by a landslide on November 5th. That helped. But they're all coming back, and they're coming back from Germany and Japan. Toyota just announced, as you know, $10 billion worth of new plants. They just announced it last week. I went to various countries, and Japan was one of them. And Toyota's coming in with a $10 billion investment in 4 or 5 plants. Now, we're going to be more advanced than we were. So we led the car industry like 100% 50 years ago. We led the chip industry 30, 40 years ago. We had 100%. Then people came in and started taking it. I don't blame them, Taiwan, etc. They took 100% because we had no president that protected our industry. If we would have said, it's wonderful that you're going to Taiwan, we think it's great, but when you sell your product back into this country, there will be a 250% tariff. Nobody would have left. Nobody would have left. And Intel would have been a giant. Intel would have been, where's Jensen? Intel would have blown, well, he now owns a big chunk of Intel. He's got it figured all different ways. Where are you, Jensen? Stand up. You have done such a good job. And you had a good 2 days, I understand, right? A good 2 days. How's Blackwell doing, okay? Any recent competitors? Anybody going to blow Blackwell away in the next week? They say 10 years. I don't know, maybe 2 years, 3 years. But you will not be stopping there. You'll be going further fast, right? An amazing job you've done. I want to thank Howard Lutnick and Christy Noem for being here. Christy, Howard, good job. Really good job. My daughter Tiffany's here with her great husband, Michael. Thank you very much, Tiffany. Thank you, honey. She was a great student. She went to Georgetown. She was a great, great student, and she finished really right at the top, and we were proud of you. And she was so proud, and her graduation got canceled because of COVID. But I say if her name were something else, they probably wouldn't have canceled it. They didn't like that she did so well in school. They weren't happy about it. I say they canceled your graduation because you were a great student, and they didn't want, but other than that, I have no problems. You see, I don't take anything personally. Anyway, great job. And of course, hundreds of the top minds in technology, finance, and private enterprise from both Saudi Arabia and the United States. But my message to all of the leaders and investors with us today, and they are the best in the world, is very simple. Under the Trump administration, America is back and America is open for business. And America is actually stronger than it's ever been before, ever. We rebuilt the military in my first term. Foolishly, we gave a little bit to Afghanistan, but not very much compared to what we built. But now we're building it at levels that we've never done before. And in addition to that, we're sending a lot out to our allies, and we're making it possible for them to get it. I want those companies to build more plants, to build it faster. We want them to build it faster. The biggest problem we have is we have a backlog because it's so good. Every country wants our missiles, our jets. They want everything we have, and we got to go faster. We just have a new plane, the F-47. It won a very strong competition. It's the newest, and that was won by Boeing. By the way, Boeing is doing an amazing job of coming back. Kelly is doing a great job. They're really moving, and it's really great to see. But they won the competition for the jet fighter, and they say it reaches levels that has never been reached, both in terms of stealth and speed and everything else that they go by. So they're just completing their factory, and they've already started work on the F-47. How did that number get chosen? I don't know, but I didn't pick it. I did not pick it. It was said, "Sir, we'd like to present you with the F-47." I said, "That's an unusual number. How did you pick that number?" After 4 years of economic nightmares under the previous regime, Sleepy Joe Biden, he was a sleepy guy, wasn't he? Think he would have been here today? I don't think so. Americans have rejected the failed, and they were really failed, far left models that you were looking at of high taxes and massive spending, soaring costs, crushing regulations, and trillions of dollars in green new scams. Everything was a new scam. Green, green, green. Look, I'm all for the environmental everything. I'm all for climate change. You know, they have a new word, climate change. It used to be global warming. It's global warming. Well, that didn't work because it started coming down. They did the global cooling thing. Then they just said, we can't keep up with this. It's too much. So we'll go, perfect words, climate change. They're covered. If it rains, if it snows, if it's warm, it's climate change is destroying the world, remember? The world was supposed to have been gone 2 years ago. They gave us 12 years, Howard, to live, right? 12 years. But that was 14 years ago. The world was going to burn up, but it got actually much cooler. They know these people. It's a little conspiracy out there. We have to investigate them immediately. They probably are being investigated. Their policies punished success, rewarded failure, and produced disaster, including the worst inflation in our country's history. We had the worst inflation in history, and now we have a beautiful, normal inflation. It's going to come down over the next few months a little bit more, but we have a nice, normal inflation. We had the highest inflation in the history of our country. 9 months ago, our country was dead. But now America is the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the hottest country. I don't care what country you're with. America is the hottest country considered. And we did this in a period of 9 months. We're a little longer than that, but it took me about 2 weeks to get started. we're rewarding those who build and create, invent, and invest in the USA. And you know, our big, I call it the great big beautiful bill. It's the biggest bill ever passed in the history of Congress. And Scott and I and all of us, we sat down and we said, let's do it, along with the Speaker and John Thune and everybody, said, let's do it all in one bill. And a lot of people were they said, you'll never get it approved. And we didn't have a huge majority. We had a huge presidential win. We won everything. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by millions. We won everything. But the one thing, we won one, it's called districts. The country has districts. And we won in terms of districts 2,750 to 550. And that's why when you see the map of the election, it's the whole country, it's all red. And it's pretty amazing. 2 little blue streaks on the right and on the left. And they're very little and getting smaller. But it's been pretty amazing. But in 4 long years, Joe Biden secured less than $1 trillion. In 9 short months, I've secured $18 trillion to rebuild our factories, create hundreds of thousands of jobs, and bring back those beautiful words, made in America. So think of that. He did less than $1 trillion in 4 years, and in 9 months, we've done more than $18 trillion, okay? That's called success. And we think that by the end of the first year, it'll be over $20 trillion. So, and thank you very much. You helped with that little boost you gave us, that little increase. We appreciate it so much. We appreciate you. So as just one example, under the deals being signed this week, workers at GE Aerospace, I think he's here. Where is he? Stand up. What a job you've done with your new engines. And where are you? You're there. It's not a very good location for you. I thought you have been amazing. Great new engine that's supposed to be more efficient, more powerful, and less costly. That's not a bad combination. But GE Aerospace will soon be delivering dozens of new airplane engines for 787 Dreamliners in Saudi Arabia's commercial fleet. Big order. It was a big order just secured. Every new job and every new factory created by these announcements builds up our middle class and really strengthens the industrial backbone of America. And, you know, I view it differently. I used to view it as it's great, great, great. The stock goes up. I view everything as jobs now because I don't care. I care about jobs. And we have more jobs. It was just announced. We have more jobs right now than we've ever had in the history of our country. Those are big numbers. You know, it's like crazy. It's just a great stat. More jobs today than we've ever had in the history of our country. And we're going to be producing a lot more are coming. In my first term, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world, and now we're do it again. But this is really bigger and better and stronger. The first term, we had what was considered the best economy that any president has ever had. That's nice. And we got hit with COVID, remember? And we did a great job with COVID, but that was a horrible thing for the whole world. The whole world suffered. Your country suffered. Everybody suffered. And despite that, we had the greatest economy. And before that, forget it. We blew it off the charts. I'll never forget, I met with pollsters the day before I got the news about COVID, but I met with 2 pollsters because we were starting to think about the next election. They said, sir, if George Washington and Abraham Lincoln came back from the dead and they aligned and they went for the president, vice president as a combination, you'd be beating them by 25 points. And then the next day I was told that something strange is happening. There's a lot of death being reported in a certain country. I won't tell you which one because that country is well represented here. But you know which one. And thousands and thousands of people are dying. And I said, that's strange. What would that be? And it turned out to be a disaster for the world. There's, nothing has been seen like that since 1917. I always thought that when I heard, pandemic or anything you want to call it, but I always thought that was like an ancient phenomena, that could never happen in modern times, but it did. But we did a great job with all of the things that we did with the vaccines, with so many of the drugs that we came up with. making you better. Regeneron is an example. Regeneron was fantastic. I give them great credit for what they did. But we did great, and then we started doing the gowns and the masks and the goggles and the ventilators. We were sending ventilators all over the world. We became the king of ventilators. But what a period of time that was for all of us. But despite that, we had the greatest economy in the history of our we had the greatest economy in the history of the world. And I'll tell you, it was an amazing time. But this looks like it's going to be blowing it away, because when these plants, which are being built now, and many are going to be started very shortly, many, but when they open, we're going to see numbers the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. And, you know, in some cases, you're building extremely complex plants. You're building plants to make computers and to make telephones, to make a lot of different things, missiles. But you're building plants that make things that are very, very detailed, and you have to have great knowledge. And you're coming here and you find, if we don't have people that did that before, we are allowing you, and I may take a little heat. I always take a little heat from my people, the people that love me and the people that I love. They happen to be toward the right of center, toward the right. Sometimes they're way right. But if you have to bring people to get those plants opened, we want you to do that, and we want those people to teach our people how to make computer chips and how to make other things. You can't come in, and I'm explaining, you can't come in, open up a massive computer chip factory for billions and billions of dollars like is being done in Arizona, and think you're going to hire people off an unemployment line to run it. They're going to have to bring thousands of people with them, and I'm going to welcome those people. Now, I love my conservative friends. I love MAGA, but this is MAGA. And those people are going to teach our people how to make computer chips, and in a short period of time, our people are going to be doing great, and those people can go home where they probably always want to be. You know, when people are born someplace, they tend to want to go, and we have the greatest country in the world, but they want to go. But they're going to do. We had one case in Georgia where a battery factory, batteries are very dangerous to make. They're complex, much more complex than people understand. And they spent $1 billion to build a factory, and they were told to get out. And I said, stop it. Don't be stupid. And we worked it out. And now they're teaching our people how to do it. But they're going to have to spend, Jensen, I don't think you can open up a big plant with your friend from Taiwan where we're going to have 40 or 50% of the computer chip business I don't think you can do that with people that don't even know what a chip looks like. Do you agree with that? So somehow, you know, the people that are against this are really, really smart. They're unbelievable patriots, but they just don't understand. Our people have to be taught. This is something they've never done. And we're not going to be successful if we don't allow people that invest billions of dollars in plant and equipment to bring a lot of their people from their country to get that plant open, operating, and working. I'm sorry. So my poll numbers just went down, but with smart people, they've gone way up. They've gone way up. And I mean that. So for those of you that are doing the plants, you're going to have all the help you need, and you're going to do a great job. And you're going to teach our people how to do it, and our people are going to be just as good as your people ever were in not such a long period of time. Since the election, the stock market has set, and this is a little more than 9 months, 46 all-time record highs. And the growth is now amazing, and it's lifting up the Americans and American economy like nobody's ever seen before. It's the biggest. There's never been a period of time like this. Wages for hourly workers are rising at the fastest pace in 60 years, and real wages for construction workers are up $2,200 a year, and that's good, and that's spending. They're going to spend. They're going to buy many of the things that you're making. In 9 months, we've lifted over 600,000 Americans off food stamps, and that's happening rapidly. You know, when we had the problem 2 weeks ago on the SNAP, and they talked about all of this, the numbers. So when I left, which was a rigged election, by the way, but that's okay, You know, they used to go crazy. I'd say regularly, oh, nobody complains anymore because now they realize it was, and it's been proven, and it continues to be proven. But when I left, that number was $7 billion. Now it's $47 billion. That's Biden. So if you think about it, if Kamala, who's the same basic thing, grossly incompetent, he was incompetent, they're all incompetent because their policies are incompetent. Open borders, men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody. I mean, they got the worst policy. I don't talk about it too much because if I talk about it, they might change. So, no, I don't talk about it. I tell people, don't talk about it. Wait till 2 weeks before the election and hit the hell out of them. Right? We talked about that, right, Elon? He said, we wait 2 weeks before. It's almost like you're at a war. Don't shoot yet. Don't shoot. Hold your fire. The enemy's rushing. Hold your fire. Don't shoot. Okay, now you can go. 2 weeks before. But I watched a guy the other day, a congressman, fighting for men playing in women's sports. And the new weightlifting record for a certain weight was just set. The man was 119 pounds higher than a woman champion who was a phenomenal champion. Beat her by 119, and he was an average lifter prior to transitioning. A lot of the Saudis are sitting here saying, what the hell is he talking about transition? They don't do a lot of transitioning. They're sitting here, the Saudis are saying, what is he talking about? They're saying, what do you mean women are playing against men? No, that doesn't happen, does it? Yeah, it does. These people are crazy. 1.9 million more American-born workers are employed today. Think of that, than when I took office. So we picked up almost 2 million workers, and more Americans are now working, as I said, than at any time in the history of our country. Under Biden, 1 out of every 4 new jobs went to increase the size of the federal government. So in other words, 1 out of 4 was a federal worker. Well, I love our federal workers, but that's not the way you can build a country. It's a short road to a disaster. Under my administration, 100%, think of that, of all new jobs created came out of the private sector. In fact, the federal government, we cut thousands and hundreds of thousands of jobs out of the federal government. Now, if I wanted to do something for purely political reasons, I'd say, Susie, let's hire a couple of million federal workers. And you know what happened? Unemployment is unbelievable. We don't do that. They did that. They used to hire workers in order to fudge up the numbers. The federal workers. By the way, Susie Wiles, most powerful woman anywhere in the world by the biggest, most important magazine. Susie Wiles, she had a father, Pat Summerall, the great announcer of football. He was a great football player, became an even greater, the voice of the NFL, and he was supposed to be a tough cookie, and I believe it 100%. Most powerful woman in the world. She can take out a country, take out a country with one phone call. That's power. I don't know if I could do that, but she could. Thank you, Susie. Do you feel good about the job you're doing? Huh? She's never going to be satisfied. She's doing a great job. We're also making incredible strides to make America affordable again. That's a new word that they're using. Affordability, they talk. They had the worst inflation in history. They had the highest prices in history. The country was going to hell. The only thing that we're going up in is our stock market, okay? The only price that we really have, I mean, we're bringing prices down, but they came up with a new word, affordability. And they look at we were all about affordability, and everyone assumes that that meant that, no, their prices were high. If you look at the numbers, since I took office, core inflation is now below 2.7%. It was at numbers that nobody had ever seen before with them. Walmart just announced that the cost of their standard Thanksgiving meal is reduced by 25% this year from last year. So they make, look, the Democrats, I don't know, some of you are probably liberal Democrats. I don't know about in your country. I don't know if you know that word, liberal. The word liberal doesn't exist. But they have a new word now. You can't use liberal, you have to use the word progressive. and I don't like using it. It's a beautiful word, progressive. Progressive, that's not them. They're regressive. No, they're regressive. Think of it. So if I don't get in, we have $20 trillion. Let's say she gets in. Instead of $20 trillion, you'd lose $10 trillion, and your welfare and other benefits would go up by 30%. Look at SNAP. Look at what happened there. From 7 million to 47. From 7 billion to 47 billion. It would be that. So we would lose business. Countries and companies and people would flee our country. They would flee, and all of the other things would go up. In other words, would end up with a shell of a country, and I'm being nice when I use the word shell. This country would have been in big trouble, and I don't want to get him in trouble, but that gentleman right there, the most respected man in the room, that's today because we're here. Most respected man, I have to say that. Don't worry, when I'm with other countries and the leaders sitting there, I say the same about them. Don't worry. Don't get carried away. No, the most respected, one of the great leaders, he told me when I was in his country, he said, and I use it all the time. Sometimes I refer to him because I have great respect for him. I figure it sells better. But he said exactly these words. He said, it's amazing what you've done. 1 year ago, your country was dead. And now you've got the hottest country in the world. You were the first one that said that. And I've used your name hundreds of times. I use your name, I say, that King of Saudi Arabia said. But anyway, but it's true. We were a country that was in really bad trouble. We were a country that would have been dead, I believe, within a year or 2 years after the election. We were headed in a very bad direction. And now we're headed in the best direction, I think, that we've ever been headed. According to the USDA, Turkey is down, think of that, 33%. And I'm not talking about the country of Turkey. He's doing fine. Erdogan is doing good. Just want to, I don't want him calling me. I'm not down 33%. He's a friend of ours. We got to take care of our friends. Since March, egg prices are down 86%. Think of 86%. Many other prices are down in a similar number. When I first came into office, my first 3 days, I had a news conference, and they started screaming at me. Those people, that's a lot of people back there. Look at all the fake news. They started screaming at me, eggs, eggs. I didn't know anything about it. I said, what's going on with eggs? They're up quadruple. I said, I've only been here for 3 days. And we'll work on it. And we got them down very substantially. They said, don't buy eggs for Easter. At the White House, we have an Easter egg hunt. We buy thousands of eggs. People come from all over, thousands. They asked me, sir, would it be possible this year to buy plastic eggs? I said, I'm not buying plastic eggs. The kids are going to pick up an egg. They're going to, what the hell kind of an egg is this? And we bought maximum number of regular eggs, and we got the prices. Brooke Rollins did a great job, Department of Agriculture. She did a fantastic job. And eggs are way down now. Mortgage rates are down despite the Fed. Scott, you got to work on this guy. He's got some real mental problems. No, there's something wrong with him. It's just sweet. I'll be honest, I'd love to fire his ass. He should be fired. Guy's grossly incompetent. And he should be sued for spending $4 billion to build a little building. I'm building a ballroom that's going to cost a tiny fraction of that, and it's bigger than the whole thing put together. You got to work on him, Scott. The only thing Scott's blowing it on is the Fed. Because the Fed, the rates are too high, Scott. And if you don't get it fixed fast, I'm going to fire your ass, okay? I can't tell you, Scott, sir, don't fire him. Sir, please don't fire him. He's got 3 months to go. Don't fire him. I want to get him out, Scott. Please. He's the voice of reason. You're very lucky you have him, I'll tell you that. Done a good job. I think Howard's a little bit more for firing him. Right, Howard? I think Howard would say, get him the hell out of there. Anyway, well, congressional Democrats wanted the largest tax hike in history. They wanted to raise your taxes by 42% of you, 44%. I proudly gave you the largest tax cuts in American history. Don't forget, the great big beautiful bill doesn't kick in until January 1st. So all these numbers that you're reading about, all these great numbers, that's without the tax cuts. The tax cuts take effect on January 1st, and that's no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Even people that go buy a car, they've never had this. You know, middle-income people don't know what the word deduction is. They don't know. This room, they live on deductions. Me too. How much of a deduction do I get? We all live on it. Middle-income people, they don't know about that. They don't really have deductions. We're giving them a deduction on the interest if they buy a nice Tesla car and they borrow the money. You're so lucky I'm with you, Elon. I'll tell you, has he ever thanked me properly? Although I do let him buy other than electric cars, but these are minor details. You know, we had a mandate, which even Elon thought was ridiculous, that everybody has to have an electric car by 2030. And once, fortunately, he said, that's a ridiculous thing. So I keep quoting, but I'm giving them a deduction. Now, Elon would like to have it differently. A deduction only if you buy a Tesla, right? But we'll let it be for everybody. But think of it. You get a deduction on the loan, on your interest payment. I think that's going to be an unbelievable boon to car sales. I think it's one of the biggest things, and we'll see, but I think it's going to be. And the biggest thing I've done for business and jobs is deductibility, where all of that money that you're spending, 100%, think of it, expensing for all new equipment purchase, factory construction, including structure. Every single thing you're allowed to deduct, expensing 1 year. And that's what made our first tax bill, in my opinion, more than anything else, bringing your money back in. We have that, we have everything. Trillions of dollars, hundreds of billions, but trillions of dollars. Apple alone, Tim Cook brought in hundreds of billions of dollars. You couldn't do it under the old tax code. You'd have to pay so much tax, and just the bureaucracy of it. We made it very simple. We charged a fair rate, and we took in billions. Well, we have that. But the expensing, to me, was the thing that made it so successful. And the other thing is all of those tax cuts that we got, that was the largest tax cut in history. On top of adding to those cuts, we extended the original tax cuts. If we didn't extend, you would have had about a 58% tax increase from that point, and we were able to get that extended. So I want to thank the Speaker of the House, and I want to thank John Thune. And a lot of people thought that bill, because we put everything into that one, we took 4 years worth of things and we put them into the great big beautiful bill. And we got it passed. It was close, like about a quarter of a vote. It was on fumes. We thought for a couple of moments we were not going to be able to get it. Then we would have had to have it in 9 or 12 or 14 different bills. And I don't think we would have gotten many of them approved. We would have gotten some easily approved, but some we would have gotten no votes on. By putting it all together, we got everything. And it was a great job, and I think someday it's going to be appreciated. But among other things, it's the biggest tax cut in history for people and for businesses. So just enjoy it, and think of me every once in a while when you're hiring new people and making a lot of money. You just think about us. But I'm cutting a record number of job-killing regulations. That's the other thing. And I've already slashed more than $1 trillion worth of regulations this year. My last term, I gave the largest regulation cut in history, and now we're doing it again. In fact, for every new regulation, they're mandated to cut 10. And so far, it's for every new regulation, they've cut 30. So they have the idea. And very importantly, we stopped Joe Biden's radical crusade to kill oil and natural gas. Somehow, I don't think Saudi Arabia would like me too much if we could decide to kill oil and natural gas. There's nothing like it. It works. Windmills don't work. Other things, I don't want to get into it too much, but they don't work. What does work is natural gas, oil, nuclear, and other things. But the windmills are a disaster. I am the biggest negative person on windmills. They ruin your locations. They ruin. When I look at some of these countrysides that are littered with windmills, and every time it goes around, you lose money. The country loses money. It's a disaster. And I just hope that some of these countries that are losing their ass, we have countries that are going bankrupt because they're putting windmills all over the place. You're supposed to make money with energy, not lose money with energy. And we talk about oil, and we talk even clean, beautiful coal. I said, you're not allowed to mention the word coal unless you precede it by saying clean, beautiful. So I have my people in the office, they're talking about coal, right? And they're going, sir, a clean, beautiful coal is doing very well, sir. And then 2 minutes later, clean, beautiful coal. Then he mentions the third time, sir, coal. No, it's clean and beautiful because it needs a public relations help. Coal needs a little help public relations-wise. So we refer to it as clean, beautiful coal, and it does have its place, that I can tell you. But we're streamlining permitting for all new energy projects, all new mining projects, and what used to take 28 days is now down to very little. But we had times when, not 28 days, we had times when things would take 14, 15, 16, and even 20 years to get approved. We have a maximum day, 28 days. That's the maximum it'll take. It'll never take more. You can come in with $1 trillion factory. You can come in with what it takes, a maximum of. You don't have to go years and years and years, be abused by bureaucracy. If you build a plant now, you're going to have your plant done within 28 days. And a lot of you are all, because I see everyone shaking their head, you're all agreeing. We're getting you approved by very smart people quickly. You know, when you used to walk in with plans done by the best engineers in the world, thousands of pages, and drop them on some guy who's been there for 28 years approving environmental impact statements, and he's looking at pages that he's never seen, and he's supposed to approve it. He has no idea what the hell is in those pages. So we know what we're doing. We're going to get maximum is 28 days. That's why we have so much under construction, and people can't believe it. They can't believe it. And again, remember what I said, most important thing, you're building your own electric plant. You're really becoming a utility in addition to doing what you're doing. But you're building all of the excess, all of that energy, all of that electricity is being built. And your excess electricity, you can sell back to the federal grid. So we even make it there. Under the deals being signed this week, the world's two leading energy superpowers, America and Saudi Arabia, are partnering on energy like we've never partnered before. American Saudi companies represented here today are joining on liquefied natural gas, infrastructure, constructions, and making both of our energy sections, our sectors are becoming so strong. Just a quick story. In Louisiana, when I first time I got there were two massive LNG plants. One was under review for 14 years and was being rejected. The other one was for 18 years. The people of Louisiana, Doug, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And one was $20 billion, one was $24 billion, like the biggest things, like 3 Empire State Buildings lying on its side. It was massive. And I said, whatever happened with those plants? Well, sir, they're under review. How long has it been? 14 years and 17 years. And they had given up. Massive investments were being made by other countries and the richest people. They couldn't get them approved. I got myself involved. Right, Doug? The first one, I got approved in 1 day. The second one, I got a little cocky. I took my time. It took me 1 week. And they're both operating today, and they're tremendously successful. I got one. Think of it. After 14 years, I was in office. I got involved. I got it done in 1 day. And it's been a tremendous success and made a lot of money for our country and for a lot of other people. And the other one took 1 week to get done. That one was under review, I think, for 14 or 15 years, both of them. So I'm very proud of that, actually. I also proudly ended the ridiculous Biden-era restrictions on artificial intelligence, and we will work closely with friends and partners like those in this room to build the largest, most powerful, most innovative AI ecosystem in the world, and we are going to work it so that you'll have a one approval process, not have to go through 50 states in the United States. You know, you can't go through 50 states. You have to get one approval. 50 states is a disaster because you have one woke state and you have to do all woke. You'll be back into the woke business. We don't have woke anymore in this country. It's virtually illegal. But you'll have a couple of wokesters, and we don't want to do that. We want to get the AI done, and I'm working with David. David's done a fantastic job. If he's here, I think he is. He is. Thank you. David's done a fantastic job. But we want one approval, one, and hopefully you have the right guy in the federal government. Hopefully you have the right president, but you have one approval, one approving body, not 50, not, you know, hundreds of people all over the country looking at what you're doing. And basically you're forced to take the worst and the most onerous, right, Jensen? Are you happy with that, Jensen? Thank you. If Jensen's happy, I'm happy. But what's very important, we have to do that. And we have a couple of very good, very well-meaning senators that think every state should have a right to approve. We're not going to do that because that will not allow you to do what we have to do. And we'll get that straightened out. Together, the United States and Saudi Arabia are unleashing really the most incredible new prosperity together. And we're also making history and forging peace. And I've settled 8 raging conflicts, 8 wars. I've settled 8 wars. I have one to go. You know what that one is. I thought that was going to be my easy one because I have a good relationship with President Putin, but I'm a little disappointed in President Putin right now. He knows that. I thought that was going to be the easy one. I settled one war, 36 years. I got it done in one day. I had another one, 32 years, millions of people killed. Even Congo and the Rwanda, they had 10 million people killed. It was out of control. I got that settled. I have a man's father who happens to be in this room doing a great job, right? Got that settled. I settled 8 wars, and I'll tell you, His Majesty would like me to do something very powerful having to do with Sudan. It was not on my my charts to be involved in that. I thought it was just something that was crazy and out of control. But I just see how important that is to you and to a lot of your friends in the room. Sudan, and we're going to start working in Sudan. I didn't think that that was one that was going to be so easy to do, but we're going to start working. Mohammed said, yeah, thank you. Thank you to you. No, it wasn't on my charts because I'm good at settling disputes, and I've always been. I've done very well with that over the years, even before this. But you know, I was talking about the different wars, and it's, look, India, Pakistan, they were going to go at it, nuclear weapons. I said, that's okay, you can go at it, but I'm putting a 350% tariff on each country, no more trade with the United States. No, you can't do that. I said, I'm going to do it. Come back to me, and I'll take it down, but I'm not going to have you guys shooting nuclear weapons at each other, killing millions of people, and having the nuclear dust floating over Los Angeles. I'm not going to do it. They said, we don't like that. I said, I don't care if you like it or not. So I was all set. I told Scott, 350% tariff to settle that war. If you don't, we'll make a nice trade deal. They were in the midst of a deal. Now, no other president would have done that. Another guy would have, like Joe Biden, doesn't even know what countries we're talking about. He wouldn't have any idea. There'd be no tariffs, no nothing. Just the whole world would go to hell. But no, I used tariffs to settle all these wars. Not all of them. 5 of the 8 were settled because of the economy, because of trade, because of tariffs. So I did this. But, and then, I'll tell you what, the Prime Minister of Pakistan called me. Thank you very much. He actually said, I saved millions, and he said it in front of Susie. He said, President Trump saved millions and millions of lives. He doesn't even know that, but he saved millions of lives, and he talks about it. And I got a call from Prime Minister Modi saying, we're done. I said, you're done with what? We're not going to go to war. I said, thank you very much. Let's make a deal. But I saved a lot of people, millions of people, on many other wars. Azerbaijan, you know what was happening there? I settled that. That was going on for many, many years. Actually, Putin called me. He said, I can't believe you got that one settled. We've been trying to settle that one for a long time. I said, don't worry about that. Just let me settle your frickin' war. Okay? You don't have to help me. I don't need any help. I need help with your war. And it'll get done. But working with the Crown Prince was amazing because he mentioned Sudan yesterday. And he said, sir, you're talking about a lot of wars, but there's a place on earth called Sudan. And it's horrible what's happening. And I viewed it as being just sort of a freelance, no government, no this, no that. And he explained the whole culture and the whole history. And it was very interesting to hear. Really amazing, actually, to hear. And, you know, we've already started working on that, okay? He said that would be the greatest thing you can do. That would be greater than what you've already done. That was your expression. Is that a correct expression? Pretty good. So we're working on that. We started about 30 minutes after you explained to us the great importance of that. I view it differently now than I did just a day ago. But we also, as you know, we had a historic ceasefire. We ended the war in Gaza. And 2 days ago, incredibly, the United Nations Security Council backed the Trump peace plan. And we have a great peace plan. We have peace in the Middle East. This is a strong peace, too. They say, oh, it's tentative. It's not. This is a very strong peace. We have 59 countries signed on. And when there's problems, I'm getting calls from countries. They want to go in and lead the fight to solve the problem if we have any problems. But right now, it's looking very good and they endorsed the United Nations, what's called the Board of Peace, chaired by a person called Donald J. Trump. I accepted the chairmanship. They asked me to be chairman. That's what I needed. It's just a little more work, but it's a great honor. That'll be the greatest board ever assembled. When do you see this board? This board will blow every board away. And I believe we're going to be lucky enough to have the Crown Prince be a very distinguished member of the board. But we're going to have the heads of the Board of Peace, and I think it will go long beyond Gaza and the Middle East. I can see that going long beyond. There'll never be anything like this in terms of, I know you all have wonderful boards, but this is going to blow it away. It's going to blow them all away, and it's going to do some really good. So in the coming months, the Crown Prince and I are going to ensure that the ceasefire and everything else that's going on that's so positive in the Middle East, hard to believe. I mean, I've grown up, peace in the Middle East. I used to have peace in the Middle East, but never happened. We have peace in the Middle East. It's an amazing thing. Nobody thought, 3,000 years they talked. Nobody thought it would happen. In just 9 months, our administration has achieved more than most other administrations achieve in 8 years. And we're leading again in just every country. We want to win. We want to win for you. We want to win for ourselves. We want to help our allies. We want to change our enemies. We want to change our enemies. I'm being nice when I say it that way, but we want to change them. And if they don't change, we're going to be nasty. But hopefully we're not going to have to be nasty. But we want the world to prosper. We want the world to be safe. Our alliances are flourishing like they haven't before. And, you know, they're respecting America again. They didn't respect us. We were like a bunch of stupid people. We had a president that couldn't get up and talk, couldn't walk up a flight of stairs. We had people that didn't know what the hell they were doing. We were an embarrassment all over the world. But now we have people that are respected at levels that we've never seen before. So I just want to tell you that this is a group that I respect. I read every single name of every single person sitting in each and every seat. And I either know you or I know of you. This is an amazing group of people. And it really is headed by that gentleman sitting right smack center with 2 seats in between him. He wants plenty of room. And he's going to be the king of Saudi Arabia right now. He's the most distinguished gentleman. He's my friend. And thank you very much for what you've done for us, and we will always be with you. Thank you, Mohammed. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sometimes I feel like when I'm doing these things that I'm seeing stuff that some people aren't paying attention to. I'm seeing things that just make me because I watched so many of his speeches. You guys who have been here have watched so many of his speeches. We have watched the campaign rallies, And that was a noticeable change, and obviously his team picked that music. That song, I forget if it's Otis Redding, I'm not really sure if it's Sam. Hold On, I'm Coming. After all the stuff he said in that speech, and how just things kept rolling off of his tongue, and it was just one reveal after the other. I said it was a soft release. You know, he was kind of doing stuff, but some people in the chat were like, no, we're getting it. We're hearing exactly what he's saying. Yeah, I think we should investigate that person. Yeah, I think we should do this. And Elon, you need to do, and he just went on, and he was dropping literal bombs. And then he closed it, not with YMCA, not with a party song. Hold on, I'm coming. I got little goosies. I got little goosebumps. He has played that song a couple times in his rallies, but this one, at this point, with what's going on right now in our country and the craziness that's happening, and with this press being complete boneheads, wow. Hold on, I'm coming. Hey everybody, I understand you're looking for this. I understand you want an Insurrection Act, and I understand. Hold on. I got this. I'm coming. Go ahead and read the lyrics to that song. Go. I don't know. Maybe I am too much of a fanboy. Convict me. I'm a boomer fanboy for President Trump, but I listen to comms. I watch what's happening, and that just puts some B12 into my veins. Pump that right here. I want all of that. I hope you guys get that, because when I hear stuff like that, it means this to me.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
You know, take me back to my football days. Do something. Let me pull a helmet down and get ready to run through a wall, because that's how I feel when I hear him speak. I don't even understand trolls. Trolls must not be listening. They're not paying attention. La, 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 la. I don't want to hear what he has to say. But if you listen to what he says, some people, oh, he rambles. No, he's not rambling. He knows exactly what he wants to say and how he wants to say it. And how do I know this as well? And you should know it right now. As he was closing, he goes, I know every single name and every single seat. He looked up, I want to know who's in this room. I want to know who I'm talking to. So when you call me next week and say, hey, I was listening to you talk. No, you weren't. Nah, where were you sitting? I was sitting in, second aisle, fourth seat. No, you weren't. That was Bezos' seat. So he was letting everybody know, I know who my friends are. I know who want to be around me. I know who wants to cut some deals. If you're not sitting in one of these chairs, you're going to have to explain to me why I need to do any business with you. And then I understand there's going to be people who are misinformed. There are people who are completely uneducated and are listening to the Panikins when he talks about the H-1B visas. Oh my God, he said it again. He wants to bring in all these people when everybody here doesn't know how to, they don't have jobs. I don't care how intelligent I am right now, or how intelligent I feel I am right now. I am pretty sure if there was a job open for a brain surgeon, you wouldn't want me hacking around in there just because I need a job. Go ahead, admit it to yourself. Who do you want cutting around in the noggin? Stop being a panikin. Admit, who do you want cutting in the hole up there and looking around? You want somebody off the unemployment line, or you want a surgeon who's got 5 stars and has been doing all kinds of stuff and has been written up in journals? Stop lying to yourself. Stop trying to be America first by being a panikin. You want the best of the best. I said brain surgeon. Trust me, you don't even want me in your kitchen. You do not want me cooking your meals. I've been thrown out of too many kitchens by Robin. No, that's not going to work. Get out of here. But honey, I think no, you can't handle this. Thanksgiving, she might let me stir some gravy. Or the usual job I get on Thanksgiving is, can you open the oven and stick this 25-pound turkey in it? You can handle that. So please, spare me with there are Americans that can do the jobs needed in this technological age. You are not taking Shaniqua off of food stamps and telling her that she can go in and start programming some AI. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to America. You're lying to each other. It sounds good. Let's promote people here. Let's get them working again. Okay, I agree, 100%. Get them in a training program. And then hopefully, a year and a half down the road, they might be functional at what they needed to do. Whenever you see people saying this BS about there's people not working who can do these jobs, the people saying that probably can't do the jobs. The actual people who are posting that it's bad for H-1B visas to be in here doing jobs when Americans can be doing it, the very same people who are saying it can't do the damn job. That's some real talk right there. And I'm not insulting Americans because God knows I love America. I just know the capability of the workforce. You see, many of you are watching right now have probably not tried to hire somebody. When's the last time you've had to interview candidates for a position? Hey, listen, I'm looking for this and this, and I'll pay this much, and please send your resume. Let's do a video conference and see what you can do. Oh my God. You're a blubbering idiot. Well, I was a barista, and after I was a barista, I got to use the cash register. Okay, so tell me what you've done in this, and this. Well, I haven't done anything. Well, didn't you go to college? Yeah, I went to college. What did you major in? Protesting. Next. See, if you haven't been involved in the hiring process for quite some time, you would be amazed what the labor pool looks like. You would be completely shocked at what answers the ads and who sends the resume from Indeed. You're like, what in the hell is this? Can you tell me about your last position? Well, why is there a gap? Why is there like an 18-month gap in here? Well, I was trying to find myself. I don't want you. And when you start looking at things from that perspective, and Trump was trying to tell everybody, listen, I know you're pissed off, but there's nothing else we can do. The bodies aren't available now. The bodies that we needed now, and here's where the big thing is, should have been trained during the Biden administration. Hey, listen, in 2025, we're going to need all these people. So maybe in 2023 and 2022, we should have had a training program. None of this snuck up on anybody, as I use my hurricane analogy. We all knew where technology was going in 2025, 2026, 2027. There go. If you know where things are going now, as you sit here and go, wow, AI is about to explode. Technology is about to explode. These people are investing billions. Maybe you should be going to night school. Maybe in your spare time, you get the hell off of TikTok and start understanding what to do with AI. Maybe make yourself marketable. Show people, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I can do this, sir. I've been doing it for a while. I've been going to AI school. Did you know there's AI schools out there? Did you know that you can become a productive member of society in this tech age by going to AI school? Some people won't because they're afraid of it. And because they're afraid of it, it's going to hold them back. There's a reason why these billionaires and soon-to-be trillionaires are telling you straight up, you may not need money. When I heard Elon say that, it reminded me of that part in the movie of Back to the Future. Roads? where we're going, you don't need roads. And so here's the richest man in the world saying, money, you ain't going to need money. And everybody's going to have their own little R2-D2 running around. I can't wait. I can't wait to have somebody or something. Hey, listen, go edit this video. Do what you got to do and edit the video. Have it ready for me. And then go ahead and post it to YouTube. Where are you? I'm going to go ahead over and hang out at the beach. Let me know when you're done. Hit me up with an email. Says, yeah, Mr. Barry, I finished editing 18 videos. It took me about 12 minutes. There's a robot I want. Come on in, Mr. Robot. Oh, I don't need to feed you, don't need to pay you, don't need to do anything other than plug you in and recharge you, and I hope you don't get mad at night or something like that. But other than that, we're good. So if you know right now today, on November 19th, 2025, that's the world that we're heading to, and you can't do any of it, well, you either check out, go play pickleball with SB, do some tennis, do whatever you need to do, have some fun, and then realize that you are no longer going to be a part of the future workforce. But however, if you've got children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, as they're the head of the patriarchal or matriarchal family, one of the things you can be imparting during Thanksgiving dinner this next week, or Christmas dinner, it's like, hey, listen, get off of TikTok, put it away. Understand, if you want to be prosperous in this life, prosperous, you are going to have to put away the crazy stuff and start going down this way. He couldn't have made it any more clearer. The people who've talked couldn't have made it any more clearer. I'm going to go back. I know we've been for 2.5 hours, and I'm gonna go back and get to the part where we were, where Elon and Jensen were talking, so we can finish that off because you guys asked me to. But man, you can tell I'm passionate. I'm fired up. I'm 65 and I can't get enough. I just want to keep eating. Just give me all this AI stuff you can. Throw it all at me. I'm not speaking from a perspective of talking down to somebody. I'm speaking from a perspective of I'm doing it with you. I am learning everything I can from AI. I'm even using AI in this show. You want me to prove it? Listen. Hold on. That's me. Wait a second. Where'd that go? Where'd that go? 1 second. How come I did that? Wait a minute. I got to find out where it is. Number 54. Let me rewind number 54. See, my AI didn't tell me, hey, idiot, rewind your stuff. Because if you rewind your stuff, that way, wait a minute. That's not the right number. Oh, I may not even have it on this computer. It's on the other computer. So that's a real mess up. Where is that? I thought I had it here. I guess I don't even have it on this computer. My promo. Where is that? 1 second. I didn't even bring it over here. Wow. I guess I can't use it. Oh, here it is. Is this it? Nope. Didn't even bring it on this computer. In any event, I'll play it again later. However, all right, so let me get ready to do the Elon and Jensen thing and rewind it, have it ready before I begin. As I'm sure those of you who are my age or so are well aware, it's Medicare annual enrollment time. And as a newly minted 65-year-old person myself, that means I'm getting buried, absolutely buried with spam calls and all kinds of things from people wanting to sell me Medicare programs. And a lot of junk mail, all kinds of stuff. So what a nightmare that is. I have also learned that Medicare plans change every year. Apparently some even disappear. So for those of us that love our plans today, if you have one, it might not be the best one in 2026. And if you don't double check, you could lose coverage for doctors or prescriptions that you actually count on. To make matters worse, most Medicare agents are just pushing the plans that pay them the biggest commissions. That's why I recommend Chapter for the Fanfare family. They check every single plan in America, every single one, and they make sure you're getting the best deal. On average, they can save people $1,100 a year. They made it dead simple for me and Robin, or Robin and I. They'll review all your options in under 20 minutes. If you're already on the right plan, you're done. That one free phone call for 20 minutes will tell you what you need to do. If not, if you don't have the right plan, they'll help you switch. But if you got the right plan, there's nothing to do. So get some peace of mind during this enrollment period. Call Chapter at 475-328-3545. And make sure you're set heading into 2026. Or you can go to askchapter.org/Barry to book a one-on-one consultation at no charge. Or just give them a call, 475-328-3545. I'm going to go rewind that video, and I will be right back.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so I've got it queued up. We're basically at the same spot we were before President Trump came on, so I'm going to let that play. It's not that long. It's probably like 15, 20 minutes left between Elon and Jensen. So let's pick that up right now.
Times more energy than Earth could possibly produce. You must go into space. This is where it's kind of handy to have a space company, I guess. Sell the book.
Easier to cool chips in space, too.
Yes.
Easier to cool chips in space. Yeah.
Yes, there's definitely no water in space, so you're going to have to do something that doesn't involve water.
Just hang out.
Well, you just got to radiate.
That's right.
So my estimate is that actually that the cost of electricity, like the cost effectiveness of AI in space will be overwhelmingly better than AI on the ground. So long before you exhaust potential energy sources on Earth, long before, meaning like I think even perhaps in the 4 or 5 year time frame, the lowest cost way to do AI compute will be with solar powered AI satellites. So I'd say not more than 5 years from now.
Wow. And just look at the supercomputers we're building together. Let's say each one of the racks is 2 tons. Out of that 2 tons, 1.95 of it is probably for cooling.
Right.
Just imagine how tiny that little supercomputer is, right? Each one of these GB300 racks will just be a little tiny thing.
And just electricity generation is already becoming a challenge. So if you start doing any kind of scaling for both electricity generation and cooling, you realize, okay, space is incredibly compelling. So, like, let's say you wanted to do, 200 or 300 gigawatts per year of AI compute. It's very difficult to do that on Earth. The U.S. average electricity usage, last time I checked, was around 460 gigawatts per year average usage. So something like, say, at 300, if you're doing 300 gigawatts a year, that would be like 2/3 of U.S. electricity production per year. There's no way you're building power plants at that level. And then if you take it up to, say, 1 terawatt per year, impossible. Like, you have to do that in space. There just is no way to do 1 terawatt per year on Earth. And in space, you've got continuous solar. You've got you actually don't need batteries because it's always sunny in space.
That's right, exactly.
And the solar panels actually become cheaper because you don't need glass or framing, and the cooling is just radiative. So that's why I think
that's the dream.
Yes,
that's the dream.
So Jensen, everybody last night was asking me, and I'm mindful it's earnings call for you today. So I'm going to say this delicately. Everybody has been asking me to ask you, are we going to have an AI bubble?
That's the last question. All right, all right, let me just tell you what we see. Okay, so I think it's really important when you look at what's happening around the world and go back to first principles of what's happening in computer science and computing. There are three things that's happening. The first thing is that we all know that Moore's law has run its course, and the amount of demand for computing versus the amount of computation we can get out of general purpose computing is really challenging. And so the world's been moving to accelerated computing for some time. We've been pushing this now for over 20 years. Let me give you one statistic. I was just at supercomputing. 6 years ago, CPUs were 90% of the world's supercomputers, top 500 supercomputers. 6 years ago. This year, less than 15%. Went from 90% to 10%, and meanwhile, accelerated computing went from the other way, 10% to now 90%. Okay, so you're seeing that inflection point, the transition in high-performance computing from general-purpose computing to accelerated computing. Well, one of the most intensive computation things that the world does in cloud is data processing. Several $100 billion of computation is done on just raw data processing. It has nothing to do with AI. Just SQL processing, data frames, everybody's names, address, their sex, their age, where they live, how much money they make. All of that sits into a data frame, and that data frame drives the world today, whether it's in banking or whether it's in credit cards or, of course, e-commerce and everything from ad recommendation. And everything is driven off of that data frame. That data frame costs hundreds of billions of dollars to go compute. And so that's the number one thing, end of Moore's law. The second thing is generative AI. What the most important application of the last 15 years is called REXs, recommender systems. How do we know what information to recommend to us in a social feed? How do you know what ad to recommend to somebody, what book to recommend, what movie to recommend? The internet is so gigantic without a recommender system that a little tiny phone of us will have no chance of ever seeing the right information. That REXs is the engine of the internet today. That's going generative AI. It used to be running on CPUs, now it runs on GPUs. Which then says the third thing, if you just look at those two applications, many of the internet companies can build an enormous number of GPU supercomputers just doing that. Of course, then it creates the third opportunity on top of it, which is agentic AI. This is Grok, and this is OpenAI, this is Anthropic, this is Gemini. Agentic AI sits on top of that. But don't forget to think about what is happening underneath what everybody sees as AI today. There's a whole movement of computing from general purpose computing to accelerated computing. And that, if you take that into consideration, you'll come to the conclusion that in fact, what is left over to fuel that revolutionary agentic AI is not only substantially less than you thought, and all of it justified.
Well, I was just informed by the team that my boss and your bosses is going to talk next, the Honorable President and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, and hence we ran out of time. But in essence, this is so much love for you, Elon and Jensen. But this, in essence, is a 92 alliance that shifted from energy to digital to the intelligence age, powered by pioneers such as Elon and Jensen, to serve humanity and create on a net new basis new economies, new jobs, and a better future for humanity, powered by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United States. Thank you for a lifetime partnership and friendship. Thank you, Elon. Thank you, Jensen.
Thank you.
All right. So when you hear this kind of talk, and as I just told you a second ago about where we are and how just the terms they were using. I felt like Dr. Marty, as I said, in Back to the Future, because as they were talking, I'm like, what? A terabyte of electricity, a terawatt? What in the hell is that? They are, as you listen to these people talk, one of the things that's really interesting is they are speaking about things we don't even know yet. Yeah, the total electricity that's needed we can't even do it on Earth because, you know, we could do it up there because sunlight doesn't go away. And so Shanique was not going to have any idea what the hell they're talking about. The amount of technological prowess people are going to have just to be able to do data entry. The world is moving fast. I had never heard until that little segment. I had never even heard of what a terawatt is, much less how much power that can possibly be. Based on just the math, it sounds like a terawatt is 3 or 4 times the entire power usage of the entire planet right now. And they're talking about building terawatt stations that are going to be floating around. So even myself, as I listen to this, and there's information that they're saying that I don't know, I could check out, whatever, terawatt, or I can begin learning it. I can begin understanding what they're talking about, where things are going. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Where we're going, we don't need money. We're not even talking about the chip of the beast. We're talking about no need for it. I would love to sit down with Elon Musk and go, please delve more into that concept. Forget all the space stuff. Forget all the AI. Tell me how we're going to be a society with no need for cash. And I'm not talking about a chip. No need for money, is what he said. No need for currency. That's mind-blowing. So I don't know where guys of that kind of intellect are even thinking. That's so far advanced beyond most of us sitting here right now could even possibly imagine. But if that's what it's going to take to power this world moving forward, yeah, we're always going to need people to swing hammers. We're always going to need people to come and change light bulbs, to clean pools. Well, no, robots are going to be able to do that. But if we're not trying as a society to better ourselves, to get ready for it instead of hiding from it, that's not going to work. And so I am not a big advocate for H-1B visas. Not at all. I'm a big advocate for business and progressive exploration and technology. And I know that we can't have that without having skilled workers. So if you're not for interim H-1B visas, then you're going to have to come up and convince me and convince other people what the hell we're supposed to do. Put everything on pause? Because that's what you're saying. Put everything on pause until Americans are ready. No, the world's not going to do that. The world's going to find a solution. Nature will find its way. You're not going to stop this progression. The robotics, the AI, the technology isn't going to wait for people to catch up. People better start running and training right now. And I hope, I know most of the people here are my age. Some people are older, around that. And they're thinking, I'm not ready for all this. Well, it's not for you. You're at that position where you're starting to coast. Well, your relatives, the people behind you, those of us who are boomers, our mandate, what we must do as boomers, is not make sure people can buy a house. Buy your own damn house. My mandate to my grandkids is I need to make sure that they are continually educated so that they can be productive members of society where it will be when they're grown. They're young girls, 12 and, Ashley's going to smack me, 12 and 14, no, 10, 11 and 13, and the grandson is 16. So he's closer to having to get ready. The girls still have time to be girls, but they need to be learning, hey, listen, you might want to start doing this or you're going to get left behind. And I, for one, am not going to wake up one day and have my grandkids go to me, what happened? I can't do anything. And so even if you're on the other side of life right now and you've put it into neutral and are coasting down the hill, there's people that need you. What are you going to say when opportunity knocks? See, that's the problem, I think, Bambi, we're having right now. Opportunity, when I was growing up, I remember that phrase, what are you going to do when opportunity knocks? And you have to be prepared to open the door. Right now, opportunity is running, and you better catch up with it, because it's no longer going to take the time to knock and say, do you want to come along? It's out there. I am so sick of people complaining that I don't have any opportunity, I got no job, nothing's working for me. No patience. No, you cannot listen to these people here and think that there's no opportunity. And what I find interesting is, if you know the history of the people you heard talk today, not MBS, he's got Saudi money, but if you know the history of Jensen, if you know the history of Elon, and you didn't hear him, but if you know the history of Bezos, if you know the history of these guys, you realize how they got to where they are. There's no lottery ticket that they bought. They came and they kept trying. Over and over and over. Different businesses. What's going to work? What's not? Hey, I got an idea. I want to make electric cars. Oh, okay. Oh, I got an idea. I want to shoot rockets up in the sky. Well, I got an idea. I want to make these little chips. I got an idea. I want to be the biggest bookseller in the world and never publish anything. And then I'm going to be the biggest retailer in the world because people want to buy stuff besides books. But it all started way back. If you ever seen his picture when he was, younger, in a garage, packing up books. It literally, too many people look up here and go, wow, he's a gazillionaire, he shouldn't have that. But you don't hear him talking about where he was in his garage. Nope, you don't hear that. Why? Why don't you hear about Jeff Bezos in a garage somewhere packing books? Because it's too easy to look up and go, he shouldn't have that. But you don't know what the trek started with and how it started here and just kept going and going and going. You cannot stop innovation. Machines break down eventually, so that means jobs are still going to be there. Certain jobs, before the robots fix it. There's still something out there for us to do. Don't worry, we just got to figure it out. Exactly. Just having that mindset is different. Just realizing there's stuff out there for me. Let's see here. They think humanity needs to prepare to move to another planet to make sure humans live forever. That's an interesting perspective. Opportunity chooses you. You don't choose opportunity any longer. Wow, very good. Yeah, Bezos sold books out of his apartment. Imagine sitting down back in the tech, the .com age, and thinking, you know what, I'm going to start selling books because I can get books anywhere, and then I don't have to write them. I don't have to publish them. I just have to ship them. I was talking to Robin yesterday afternoon. Where were we going? I forget where we were going. And no, this was Sunday. We were driving out for lunch, and she goes, "Remember?" Because this is what it was. I heard a song on Sirius, and I heard the song, and I go, "You remember that show? I can name that song in one note." And I said, as soon as the woman sang that first line of that song, number one, I knew what it was. Number two, it went right back to Robin. And I don't know if you guys ever have heard the band, the SOS Band. And there's this one song where the woman in the song, she starts, before the band starts playing, all she says is, "Play!" And I'm like, I know that song. I know. Many of you guys probably right now. play. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you may not know, but if you know, you immediately know what song it was. And the moral of the story is, she's like, I still have that downloaded. And I had gotten involved years back with a guy who owned a .com, and he had an idea what he wanted to do, and his was based upon music. And I was promoting concerts. He's like, you're going to be the perfect person to work here in our marketing to help us build our .com, which is music related. And then about 6 months in, this thing called Napster started. And I remember everybody in the office was on Napster. Forget productivity in the office. Everybody was on Napster. Hey, I remember that song. What's that song by Lynyrd Skynyrd? What's that song by Pink Floyd? And people were just downloading songs. The technology had gotten to the point where we didn't have to go to the record store anymore. All we had to do is think of the song, hit a button, and download it. And between the two of us, we probably downloaded, 2,000 of our favorite songs. And the music industry heard about what everybody was doing. We can't have this technology. This is going to put us out of business. And they went in and they made sure that Napster was taken down and forever gone. And then that's when Apple Music came out, where people were paying $1 or $2 for a song. But the technology came from Napster, and we all just downloaded everything. That was like a turning point in the music business, when all of a sudden you didn't have to go to a record store, which I'm walking down memory lane here. I miss records. Even though we all have streaming apps, I miss albums. Those of you who are my age, do you remember albums? Do you remember opening an album and looking at the artwork and the liner notes? See, those are things that people in the young age will never experience. They can go ahead in their immediate want and listen to songs that they want, but they'll never have the experience of opening up liner notes and seeing what the bands were saying and the artwork that they put in, the actual work that they put in an album. You couldn't wait to open it up. You're like, whoa, Alan Parsons Project, whoa. And then, of course, when you got to college, there were other needs for album covers, but we won't go there right now. I think some of you guys remember what you used to do with them album covers. So, but anyway, I digress. K-Spirit says, yep, I had Napster. He said, that seems like the day that music died when Napster came out. Oh, yeah, it was crazy. Everybody could do something. Yeah, I have boxes of albums. Yeah, when I was in college, me and one of my other football buddies, we used to DJ on the weekend. We had crates and crates and crates of albums. It was incredible. Ace says, yeah, the artwork. See, you guys right now are talking about something that people younger age have no clue. Imagine it. Go talk to your grandkids. Hey, what you ever seen? What do the liner notes look like? What do the album covers look like? Huh? What are you talking about? I don't see no album cover. It just says play the song. They'll never know. They'll never know. I remember listening rooms. Yeah, you could go into Sam Goody and actually put it on. Exactly. You know what? I love talking to you guys and bringing up stuff like that. And people are like, oh yeah, oh yeah. You can look at the chat. Oh yeah, I would do it. Somebody goes. Shepard says it would take forever. I'd dial up. Some people don't even know what dial up is. What do you mean? What's a dial up? Oh, you think the speed for streaming was always this way? You'd be halfway through a song and it'd drop. You have to do it all over again. Valerie says, I loved opening and dubbing album covers and seeing the song lyrics. Yeah. Hey, when I try to talk to you guys sometimes, I want to let you guys know I'm not different than you. I lived through these days. I went through and had all these life experiences, so I can sit back and say, you know what, I remember that, and I could see it coming, and we knew that Napster was doing this, and then, you know, the 8-track and the cassette tapes went by the wayside, but everybody loved albums. They loved the vinyl, and being able to open it up, and that's something we will never experience again. Pronounced Leonard Skinner's his favorite. Yeah, that was a good one. What's this say here? I always hope that the lyrics were on every page of every song. Yeah. And then they see, Thomas, you're giving yourself away here. Oh my God, they're really. Yeah. Thomas knows. Yeah. Oh boy. This is why we're attracted to you, Barry. I don't know. We've been sitting here for 2.5 hours, and I just sometimes just get a feeling, and I know people are so worried about the technology, and by just talking to you about Napster, just remember that was a piece of technology that came out that we've never seen it before, but it didn't scare us. It was something like, what? I can get any song I want. All I have to do is remember it, and I can download this song. We embraced that technology. We were in a different lives. We were probably in college or something, and we were like, we want all this music. Copyright be damned. We're taking it all. Technology's not bad. That's the moral of the story. Is you got involved in Napster. You what was the other one? Lime Street or LimeWire was another one, and we really liked it. And we understood this was the language of our time. We could exchange music. We could send these things called MP3 files to people. What the hell's an MP3 file? Well, it's a song. Okay, well, I'm going to send it to so and so. The technology just kept going. Sometimes technology is good, sometimes technology is bad. But in any event, you had to learn how to use it. Those of you who remember downloading things from Napster, remember how you had to use it and how you had to put the codes in to connect and everything else. And I don't know what these kids today know. I don't know what they go on and technologically learn. Yeah, they make TikTok videos, but what are they learning? How does it work? And I think that's where as we're hearing these, not just rich, but brilliant guys talk about what they have in store for the future. Forget you going to Mars. Forget me going to Mars or getting on a rocket. We know what they want to do. And if we know what they want to do, if we were in a position where we needed a job with one of their companies, you think you can come off the unemployment line and go work at Tesla? Not going to happen. So where are those employees going to come from? They're going to have to bring them in, like President Trump said, and then from there we could figure out how to make it work with some of these people. And I guess we can say it's a sad indictment on the country right now that we're even having this conversation, that we don't have the people in place to do the jobs needed for the future and the present. And there's one group of people who I believe are the problem. That is the Democrats. That is Randy, what's her name, Weisengarten. It's the school system who screwed an entire generation to the point now where they blame boomers about everything. Us boomers did it. We closed the door behind us. There's no door closed behind me. There's no door closed behind you. These people just can't do what's needed. Well, you guys bought a house cheaper back then. I want a cheap house. You don't even know about cost of living adjustments. You know nothing. Nothing. And it's just sad. I mean, it's really it's really sad. And I think to me what makes it sadder is that the media and the school system and everything about it just continues to perpetuate the BS. I guess we can say it that way. All right, so let me get out of here, and let me go to Super Chats real quick here. I'm so enthused. I mean, between real estate and other stuff that we're looking at doing, I haven't seen things brighter than I see right now. There's so much opportunity. It's crazy that the media is just telling people, oh, there's nothing, the economy sucks. And, well, that's just because you're not participating in it. and you don't know what to do. And I'm not talking about anybody individual like here or anything. I'm just saying there's so much that we could be thankful for and doing things as we're heading into Thanksgiving. Thankful. All right, so let me do super chats, and then tonight we'll talk about the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party. All right, Tinley, looks like Trump told Pam to set up plan for we didn't have a chance to even go back and talk about that. I forgot about that. So Pam Bondi and Kash Patel do that press conference, and those of you guys watching probably understood they're going after this huge drug dealer. You have to wonder also, how do you go from being a champion Olympic skier to a drug pen? Well, they're going after him, but the interesting part about it that she just alluded to is that they're moving these people through trucks. And I just find it coincidental that they had 200,000 newcomers driving trucks. Got to be a parallel there. Suzanne Book, thank you for the Bible. Yeah, I don't remember asking for one, but thank you, Barry and Robbie and Ashley. I'm so happy I found you 2 years ago. If you got a Bible, you most assuredly signed up. Because there's no other way we could have gotten it to you, and there's no other way I would have had your address. So, yes, but you're very welcome. Chapo, media probably upset drug dealers are caught. Now they won't get their cut, so they have to go back to Epstein. Have to change words because it won't send. Yep, isn't that interesting? You have to spell things differently because they don't want people talking about it. I can't tell you how many times I've been dinged just for mentioning certain things about him. Thomas Fox, thank you. H-1Bs are given to 7-Eleven cashiers. Don't tell lies. Okay. George Rivera agreed. No barrister, worthless degree, knuckleheads, but what are those American citizens, STEM graduates from MIT or Cornell that are displaced by H-1B visa holders? That is where the contention exists. Just because you're from MIT with a STEM graduate degree doesn't mean you're actually that proficient. I want you to just remember that. Wherever you pick this stuff up at, we've seen what college graduates in the United States are capable of. We've seen how they've rubber-stamped degrees. Where you and I grew up in MIT and Harvard and Dartmouth and Cornell and Yale, we were like, wow, you graduated from Harvard? That is no longer the case anymore. You've seen it. They're just pushing people through. They're taking the money, they're taking the student loans. So just because somebody graduated from Harvard or Cornell or MIT doesn't mean they're proficient. Don't let that cloud your judgment anymore, because I've seen many people who have graduated from prestigious universities and don't know crap. That's where your problem is. You're still thinking it's back in the day. Hey, you got a degree from MIT? Yeah. So we've seen how they've been putting people through the mill there. They're just diploma mills. Don't let that cloud your vision. MST fired 9,000 U.S. workers and hired 7,500 H-1Bs. Good stat. What does it mean? What does it mean? You don't know. John C., stop pucking around, be where the puck will be. Absolutely. Absolutely. Until you've talked to some of these people that you're thinking had great education, just because you have an education doesn't mean you have application. Education and being able to apply said education are completely different. I even in my real estate world, I have seen so many people get a real estate license. They've got the education. They paid their $500 or $600 and they got a real estate license. They're ready to go. They're educated. Then they get hired. What do you mean? I just can't sell a house? No, you better go get yourself some clients. Having sold stock way back when I got out of college, there's something called a Series 7 degree or license. A Series 7 license allows you to sell different securities. All right, so you're smart. You got your Series 7. Can you do anything? What do you mean? You got a book? Because if you don't have a book, here's your client list. Start dialing. Start with your contacts. Start with the phone book. I don't care. But until you get people to give you money, you are a useless Series 7 MIT Harvard graduate. Get on the phone and raise some money. Been there, done that, have seen the conversations. Hey, great, fantastic. So now you've got your Series 7 license and you now are a graduate from Columbia. That's the prerequisite. That's your ticket to get in the door. Doesn't mean you're successful whatsoever. Please tell me you've seen people with degrees and all kinds of awards and platitudes who can't do shit. And then you see people who don't have that, who have banged that phone all day. Oh, yeah, I've got some Tesla to sell you. I got this. And they will call and they'll make 300 phone calls and they won't leave until they've booked $100,000 or $200,000 in commissions or business that day. There's a difference between being good and being educated. And that's the problem. I think a lot of older people, when I say older, myself included, they see stats like, hey, they fired all these people from Cornell. So? They didn't fill in the punchline. Why? Because everyone wants to say the headlines, oh, because they got cheaper stuff from overseas. You don't know that. You're following the media when you say that because you're missing a whole lot of data. Were they proficient? Were they doing what they were supposed to do? Did they want to take extra time off? I can tell you back when, I don't know, 1983, 84, I was told back then, hey, what time do we get off? What do you mean get off? What time are we done for the day? There's no answer to that question. There's no, until we get kids, young people who understand, never ask that question again. Never think I'm going to get off. Never think what time should I check in. That's, as soon as I've heard people say, hey, so what hours do we work? Nope, you're not getting it. I need life-work balance. No, you don't. Not if you want to succeed, you don't need life-work balance. They're pissed off because they're going to have to work 30, 40 hours a month to get food stamps. And I can tell you, there ain't a single creator, anybody doing a podcast, anybody doing anything on YouTube who works 30 or 40 hours a month. So don't tell me about what time you get off. I need a holiday. Holiday? Yeah, it's Thanksgiving. Not in Japan. Actually had somebody tell me that too. Holiday? There's other people where they don't give a crap about Thanksgiving in America. They're out there doing business today. Get on the phone. See, when you're cush, when you're completely cush, or you think you're cush, you're like, I got $100,000 check coming this month. Okay, because you're dictating when you want to work. Have you ever had a check for $100,000 in a month? Because that's when you sit back and go, you know what, I'm going to take off a couple days, and I'll let my clients know if they need any stop orders or buy orders. I'll still be here to help them wherever I am, whether I'm in Guam, whether I'm in, Tahiti. You can still contact me. This will be on me. See, if what I just said to you scares you, and what do you mean? There's no off button? There's no off switch to success. There's proof, if you want to know that to be proved true. You can look at President Trump. There's no off switch. But Barry, I see him go golfing, but you don't see what he's doing when he's not golfing. You don't even know whether there's a phone in his cart. Well, it's his golf course. Hold on. I got to take this call from the guy from Turkey. What's up? Where are you at? I'm on the golf course, but we got time. You don't see that. I know that happens too. We're in an era right now where there is no time clock. You do what you need to do to succeed. That is a message we need to impart on these kids. Like, I can't believe I gotta go to work. That's the problem. Once you get to a point where you think you're working, you're done. Call it a day. If you think you're working and you're making somebody else rich, that's your problem. You don't realize you're in a training ground. You're in boot camp. How many people you know have started off as taking out or washing dishes in a kitchen who end up owning a restaurant? How many people you know who basically used to cut hair and sweep the floor, open their own beauty salon? Kids don't understand. You are in boot camp when you take a job. Being a barista is not the end-all be-all. It's not a career. You don't need a living wage. You need to get off your ass and figure out, how do I open myself a cafe? I'm going to learn everything I can here in Starbucks. I'm going to learn how they shift, how they apply, get people to work. I'm going to see what they know, what time they keep the par, how much stuff we need to order, where they're getting the stuff from. Oh, yeah. Oh, you walk into a business, it's like, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to learn everything about this. See, one of the biggest things wherever I've ever worked that people guard under lock and key, and the bosses always watch to see what you're downloading. They're not worried about you downloading TikToks. They're wondering what you're doing with the data. Don't download my email list. Don't download client list. See, that's the stuff people worry about, but the kids don't know it. They're like, hey, no one's around. Let me make a quick TikTok. Idiots. You should be looking and thinking what everything you see in this business. Can I replicate it and start my own? All right, enough. Well, I've been talking for 3 hours. Hopefully I've given you guys some food for thought. I love helping people. That to me, that's the biggest point in being successful, is giving people knowledge. Understanding just because you think you're trapped, you're not trapped. And just go for it. I'll see you guys tonight. It's only 2 o'clock. I'm glad we had an early show. It gives me time to get some lunch and do some things. And talk to you guys tonight.